Because back in MPL Indonesia when he was playing, that was Udil's signature pick too.
Well, either way, it's game number 1 here in Land of Dawn. We're going to jump in. Tournament lives, of course, on the line in the single elimination bracket, the match. The last team that wins this will be one of the last 4 to proceed on to the next few days here as we finalize the MSC 2024 at EWC. Now taking a look at things, of course, the Nolan in the hands of Hades here hasn't popped up too much. Nolan has been a little bit slept on lately, but look at this aggression already on the top side. And that's the thing too, man, the Kaja. The Kaja played such a big role in the matches that we saw even yesterday, being a key component for a lot of the teams winning. And so far, a lot of this early poking already coming down. Okay, GB just gets on out of there. And yeah, you know, looking at the lineup too over here for HomeBois, got the Warcry emblem, of course, for Chibi to roll around with this Hayabusa.
Wow. And
I think that's the same thing, man. The Xavier is another pick that has been sort of niche for some teams.
But it's been doing really good. I think even in the wild card, every time we saw a Xavier, it was able to get to its item power spikes relatively quickly. And in these, you know, in this kind of meta where a lot of teams are just going to be contesting neutral objectives, fighting 5v5s, the Mystic Field finds so much more value. And that's exactly what we saw in the wild card. I think we also saw the Xavier in the... It was Sanji, yeah. It was Sanji, TLPH versus HomeBois. And in the interview, Udil literally said, you know, hey, we've been learning from that loss against Team Liquid. I think for all the teams that will be going up against us as well, they'll be learning from that match. It seems they're going to take that Xavier away from that match, and maybe they might be able to make it work as well.
Yeah, they might be able to. And why don't you go ahead and hand me that Kit Kat right there, because we're going to have a break.
I got you.
Thank you very much. So, well, we get to talk about some of the lineups here, of course, for both these teams still. I think Xavier's, like, one of the most powerful things about him is, remember that we were actually casting that game.
Yes.
Where we were counting, how many seconds that cooldown was.
11 seconds.
11 seconds. And it actually, even before it got to the 11-second cooldown on the Dawning Light, you know, even early on, like the mid-game pressure that's still there, like you mentioned with the Mystic Field, and then Dawning Light being relatively low cooldown is something that teams can play around with. And I think when you pair it up with the fact that, all right, we got a Hayabusa, he's able to, hopefully you can kind of whittle down some of the members with Dawning Light, trap them up in the Mystic Field, and then maybe allows the entry point for this Hayabusa to shine. And possibly, depending on the build that's going to happen here, but I'm assuming Skypiercer might be one of the items, you know, and then you can scale off that. And I think they actually rounded up the lineup really well with having a Ruby and a Grok as well, right? You cover up the front, you cover up your ability to go ahead and peel if you need to, or initiate using that Ruby. And then, of course, these nets on the Old Faithful Roger. You know, time and time again, I still think it works great in the jungle, but with this time around in the hands of nets, there's so many things that can happen here when it comes to the team fights. And I think really when you look at NIP Flash, playing defensively against that, I'm not sure if they want to be defensive, because look at their lineup. You know, they want to be picking off fights. They want to go roll with the Divine Judgment. And man, can I just say too, if they get a Divine Judgment, it's almost an automatic kill, I'd say, because of the power of a Nolan and a Farsa. The burst damage early game, yeah, that's tough to deal with if you're HomeBois.
It is. It's really going to be tough, I think, in terms of poke as well. Like you said, you know, they have the Farsa and these close team fights. They got that Nolan, they got the Harith. So many ways for NIP Flash to actually take control of the game and force the fast pace. Because if they are able to force the fast pace against HomeBois, against a composition that is pretty strong as well in the early game, but we do have to talk about that Xavier being more of a mid to late game threat still, right? You apply a lot of utility in the early game, and that's what you get for the Xavier. So technically, when we're talking about the early game matchup, the Xavier is not really going to be able to dish out as much damage as the Farsa. So as long as NIP Flash play discipline, this is something that we were also talking about off stream, you know? If they can take it slower than HomeBois want, it'll be great for them. Wait on the Divine Judgments, play with the timings, and play with the cycle of abilities that they have. Because once they do use, though, you know, these big burst abilities, those cooldowns are pretty big. And for HomeBois, that's what they want to capitalize on. They want to capitalize on the longer team fights, on the longer skirmishes.
Yeah, it's kind of like really at least the play for NIP Flash is, if it's not Divine Judgment, then you have Feathered Airstrike, you know, and even for the Nolan, like, the entry point against a Grok and a Ruby is going to be a little bit difficult, you know? And I know the guys on the panel has talked about this. Oh, what is our average game time? 16 to 18 minutes, somewhere around that time?
Depends which game. Because Falcons AP Brennan was what, 12?
Okay, yeah, that's going to skew the stats a little bit here, but we're jumping back into the game, of course, very early on, a minute and a half in, game number 1 of this best of 5. Nothing too crazy, of course. You know, we got just the boots completed pretty much for both of them, the mid lane mages here. You can already see some pressure being applied if they can find a pick off in the mid lane. Oh, JPL.
Shadow kill onto JPL. First blood over to HomeBois with a great gank with that quad shadow.
Yep, that's the pressure I was talking about. You know, I spotted them there, and I was like, all right, they're going to go for a play. The level 4 was available. And with that, you know, Turtle now comes up. So I'm wondering if we just see a trade here. HomeBois still making their way. Yeah, this is going to be way too fast. Hades knows it. They trade that first blood over for this first objective. Going to go ahead and secure themselves the Turtle for now. We're going to force Zorn back as well. So, you know, NIP Flash able to go ahead and equalize the exchange.
What would you take, Nice, if you were like in the place of these two teams, right? Would a kill be more prio for you, or would the Turtle be more prio?
That's a good question. I'm a mid lane main, so I'd probably go for a kill and hope that I got the kill. You know, like
yeah.
Then I can scale up. Especially, I mean, considering the two mages here too. You know, Xavier, Farsa. Either one of them, if they get an early kill, it's great for them. But the fact that it went to Chibi is actually even better.
So it's really, really good. The fact that they got the Hayabusa, someone that needs to scale up and needs to go for the snowball. Divine Judgment catching Udo straight into the fracture. Even with the wall charge, unable to disengage. Chibi gonna be caught, able to pop in the shadow kill onto Hades, but he finds a double kill and will be able to get the help of Diablo and Curtizi, who is rotated all the way from the XP lane all the way up top.
I'm going back to your question. You know, it's good that it went to Chibi. As you look at the STC replay here, this is what we talked about. Divine Judgment's going to be used. They get a kill with the Fracture, and then here comes Chibi. Luckily, he picked up the Sky Piercer right before that whole thing happened, so he was able to get another kill. And then, you know, it wasn't too crazy to deal with for HomeBois. So, interestingly enough, because now the Blade of Pepsi is also in the hands of Hades. Good flicker. They get the flicker out from Sapat, so that's fine for now. And again, you know, these are two lineups that they can work really good with the momentum that they're building in the early game. It's just really will come down to, once I feel like we get to mid-game, you'll have to see if NIP Flash plays around, how they play around once the Divine Judgment is gone here. So, you know, we're taking a closer look at things, of course, for HomeBois. Items coming up, item check. Nothing locked in for the first items just yet, aside from those junglers. Again, Sky Piercer, only 1,500 gold. Locks that in early on, and will be interesting to see if Chibi goes just that pure damage build, or he even gets a little bit of defense, because really, you know, it's just withstanding this initial Divine Judgment. You can already see it. Lockdown happens. That's a Turtle traded for HomeBois.
Great Mystic Field. Great zoning, too, by Zorn. Able to occupy that bush a bit faster. And now, for both these teams, you know, they're just looking for the trades. Divine Judgment now into the Fracture of the Feather Airstrike as well. The Wild Charge knocks Diablo off. Final Slash to bring Udil to the last shot of the Feather Airstrike as Curtizi flies by. And Udil's still able to flick around as Shadow Kill connects onto Hades. And Chibi will be able to quad Shadow out. Meanwhile, down below, all alone, Sapat just munching on that turret gold as NIP Flash continue with the invade. Diablo in the bottom lane now going for a little bit of a skirmish, but it's just to back Sapat away from this turret.
Okay, I mean, even with the play that they attempted in the mid lane, it was enough to also put some pressure on Nets. He had to be a little bit defensive, but luckily he has Zorn there now as well to go ahead and keep him safe for now. But
mid lane, solo kill in the mid lane, assassination from Hades. In the bottom lane, a trade back as Diablo was ganked. Two members falling on different sides of the map, but Hades, that's an item power spike. That's an SP.
He's got the Sky Piercer. He also, again, earlier, he had the Blade of Heptases. All right, so it just seems like Chibi is making good grounds too. He's got the Fury Hammer now, working on his next item. But, you know, so far, both teams still trading across the map. This is going to be a little bit of a gold lead now, though, for NIP Flash as they work around this. I think for HomeBois, man, you're going to be wanting to shut Hades down at this point because of, you know, I was saying earlier, Nolan, it's a little difficult when you're playing against this Grok and Ruby, but so far, Hades is perfectly fine.
Slowly but surely, it seems, you know, for both these teams, they're just taking it as slow as they can. They're trying to look for these trades, waiting for those item power spikes. And the way it's going right now, it does feel like for HomeBois, they should be able to scale up for Udil's power spike, but the fact that he's been picked off twice means that it's going to be quite tough for him to even reach that mid game. NIP Flash with Hades having a 2-level lead. This already goes against the statistics. JPL, what a read! Right into Zorn and right into everyone's damage. The collapse. They're coming down. Diablo gonna be traded in, but Udil's gonna be very low. Further airstrike. What a prediction from Curtizi. Great read on the pathing of Udil as JPL tries to go for the zone onto Chibi and Sapat. This is just a roamer, and he knows it. He wants to bait as many resources as he can from HomeBois with that maneuver.
Man, it's just like, I don't know. They're just both teams just trading after trade. You know, at this point, I'll get a kill, you get a kill. Now fighting for this third turtle. Who's going to get this one?
Let's see. That's going to be Chibi finding the retribution. Now it's going to be like inform from Nets. Trying to go in. Not good. I'm offended. They catch him. JPL taken down by Sapat as Diablo continues the vengeance. Onto Sapat now. The stun. Resetting the vengeance straight into the passive. Hades walks up, picks up a monster kill. And it will just be a trade again. Chibi, though. No, he won't be able to go for it. Nope. He jumps in onto Vanix. Curtizi now jumping in as well. The Sky Piercer. Execute. Does too much. Vanix cannot survive. And it will be another kill over to Chibi. 5-0.
I feel like this is at the point, you know, where both assassin junglers are just pointing at each other. Oh, mid lane, okay, he's going to be fine. But yeah, they're both just pointing at each other because they're both nearly doing the same thing. They're getting picks. They're using their kits really well. Plus the items that they have early on. This is where these assassins shine. So I would say, again, one of the great things about NIP Flash's lineup is the fact for JPL, he has an on-demand pull into, you know, utilizing that Nolan from Hades. Whereas HomeBois, they can actually make it happen, but if it's a wild charge, great. Maybe Zoran's able to get the wild charge off, or you get a great I'm offended. But that on-demand pick-off potential, every time you see that green light for JPL, man, Divine Judgment is going to be able to make a play. Whether he has Flicker or not, here it is.
Wild charge into the Mystic Field. Zorn going to be taken down now as the Dawning Light connects onto the back line as well. Nets trying to go for the execute. Chibi finding Vanix. Nets able to flicker out to safety. It ends up being 1-for-1, but it's a gold lane for a roamer.
Yeah, gold lane for a roamer. Vanix having a little bit of difficult time on this Hearth, I think, just because of how chaotic things can get. But again, if we are able to go ahead and extend this game number one a little bit further than what we've seen at least today, you know, we're just a few minutes away from that point. But also looking at the gold difference here, relatively even for the most part, you know, aside from like junglers again are going to be crucial up to a certain point. And then I think you have to start to shift your focus on especially the mid lane. Udil has struggled a bit, you know, in comparison to Curtizi, being able to utilize those lockdowns, utilize the Dawning Light, but as the game goes on,
JPL unable to find a Divine Judgment. That's a pull onto Diablo, right into the Mystic Field. Now the final slash, the wall charge connects onto the back. 2 members knocked up. Vanix disappearing, the shadow kill, getting rid of the back line. GB picks up the double as the fracture, takes Nets out. Hades able to trade, but he has lost all of his teammates.
Yeah, but I mean, that's great that Hades picked something up off of that, but now look at this. I mean, this is already going to be a Lord locked in for HomeBois. I was just saying, man, the lineup that they have, you know, going toe for toe, but HomeBois just demolished NIP Flash in that exchange.
I've been saying, man, HomeBois, they're really good in the brawls. And for NIP Flash, they really need to slow their pace down. But let's take a look at this STC replay.
So good. Again, Dawning Light into the wild charge and then Shadow Kill. Look at the back lines here. Curtizi has nowhere to go. Chibi goes back, grabs the double. Good check from Hades. Like I said, he's going to be part of the big obstacle that HomeBois has to get over for now. But if they manage to get a kill, man. Oh,
onto Zorn. Divine Judgment, final slash, everything used up. It's a good pickoff. There's no trades on the board. Sapat is definitely looking for it, but he'll just be walking forward every single time. Now Shadow Kill. Not used just yet. Chibi gets out with a quad shadow. Barely. Almost gets punished. NIP Flash having a little bit of a flank right now, but nobody's really walking up.
And at this point, for both these teams, again, it's like which jungler is better? Which one is going to be able to pull this off continuously until eventually they get shut down? Malefic Roar 2 on Hades is what's making him just kind of cut through everything. The penetration is there, and it looks like for Chibi, picked up the BOD. So a little more defensive has to come on here for both teams if they want to withstand that initial burst. But still, JPL doing an amazing job on the pick-off potential with the Kaja. And then we'll have to start to shift as we get to this wild charge again.
Right into the Mystic Field, right into the Dawning Light. Now Hades forced back, but the Shadow continues. And Hades gets out. JPL doesn't have that luxury, the same luxury to actually escape with those dashes.
Yeah, it doesn't get out, but it could have been way worse than they're able to survive. At least Hades doesn't go down. Dawning Light's dropped, and this is where the point now where again, even if Udil struggled a little bit in the early game, look at him, he's got the 9 assists already. Dawning Light's already relatively on a low cooldown, and they just help push the waves in. The whole job is, all right, we're going to take control of this map. We're going to get these tier 2s down. Zorn's going to TP a little bit like we heard about, you know, and just get ready for the next objective in about a minute. But if they do this and they get all the space to work with, hey, HomeBois is happy.
Shadow kill onto Vanix. Oh my goodness. Barely surviving. I thought for sure the Sky Piercer proc would have done it, but
I feel like it's a flex.
He gets out.
Yeah, you know, that's just, I'm here on your base.
Look at that damage.
Here's the damage. Be careful, right? I'm at this point, but Hades does the same thing. It's just, you know, he can't go ahead and use the quad shadows like a Hayabusa can. So all this relatively pretty much at a stalemate for now until this Lord does come up. And I think, again, this is where you see the Xavier pick start to shine. The great thing is for NIP Flash, if they have the initiation, whether that's now at this point for Diablo, he can flicker in, get the final slash, even if JPL doesn't land a Divine Judgment, or they just kind of reverse that and follow up through it. Interesting, too, some defensive items coming up. Athena Shield now for JPL. Conceal going to be used. They're going to find Sapat here.
Sapat, good pull with I'm offended straight into the wild charge, but the Purified gets him out. Diablo finding the final slash, unable to go for the follow-up. Vanix in the midst of it all, not right now. The Mystic Field catches the back line. Diablo going to be slain by Chibi with the assassination with a shadow kill. Now Cortese running for the hills. Chibi going to be able to dismantle Hades, a full-on fight, and it's HomeBois who get the dub everywhere. They're only able to trade for Udil, and now Vanix, the goal laner, is getting ran down by the XP. Has the Force able to turn it around for a bit, but now with Chibi rotating over, Chibi doing some damage. Vanix, able to find a double kill with the Zaman Force. Nets going back into the mid lane. Vanix versus Nets and Zorn, and he will have to concede the base turret, but he's already denied the Lord from HomeBois with that play.
Vanix has had enough. He's had enough of what's happened in the early portion of the game, and he goes and shuts down Chibi. And so both junglers went down in the whole exchange over the course of that. But man, by the hands of Vanix, they actually maintain what could have possibly been a push into the base even further. So Lord's still for the taking, and now it's just ultimately a reset.
Wild charge again. This time on the JPL is going to be burning down Nets with a Lycan Pounce, finding it. They're all onto the turret, or actually the Lord rather. Hades going for a Dawning Light. Oh, Zorn steals it away from NIP Flash. From the hands and the grasp of Hades, who was on it. He didn't get to retreat, he gets smacked in the face by Zorn. HomeBois are online.
That's a grok for you. That's Zorn. You wonder what he's been TPing for. It's for these moments right here. It takes the Lord, gets the cleanup kill, and now for HomeBois, they're going to be looking to march into possibly ending the game if possible. Cortese does pick up a Divine Glaive. There's a couple crowns over here. They might be able to clear the waves out enough unless HomeBois forces this game to end here. Lord makes its way to the base.
It's a big Lord into base. I'm offended, connecting on the JPL, bringing it back into the Mystic Field as well. The Divine Judgment catches him with the final slash, bringing Sapat all over to the base turret in the bottom lane. Still Chibi with a shadow kill, jumping back in front of the quad shadow. Sapat finding a double, Cortese low, doesn't have the feather airstrike. Spot turns him down, puts him down as well. He can go for the winner crown, but not for long as he gets caught under the Mystic Field. HomeBois strike first.
And the HomeBois come out swinging in game number 1 here. A great assassin matchup between two great junglers from two great teams. But ultimately, Chibi and the rest of the HomeBois will go ahead and get the W, get the victory here. Man, what a game 1 for this best of 5. I know the panelists mentioned this earlier. I think this is going to be a very close series ahead of us after just seeing this and what's, again, at stake here for these two teams. Hey, if we get to see 4 more games of that, I'd be happy.
That'll be quite entertaining. An amazing first game to set the pace, to set the tone for this best of 5. HomeBois versus NIP Flash.
What a great matchup we have in store for us, but game 1 was already a treat. Boys, at the panelist stand, why don't you go ahead and break this one down?
I mean, talk about an amazing match. Both junglers being extra active in this game. But I gotta say, that Zorn Lord Steal, I might nominate that as one of the best Lord Steals we've seen so far in MSC.
At least one of the most important, because just for a minute there, Vanix grabbed the game by the horns with a great outplay. able to put them in a position where they could take the Lord, and then Zorn just steals it from him.
But most importantly, goes for the flicker smack. And then takes out the Hades. I think Hades wasn't able to utilize the retribution because of the dawning light as well that he might not have expected from Bill. Maybe he's not looking at his own screen. You know, sometimes you drag your map. That's my only description of that. However, for NIP Flash, there were glaring mistakes, I would say. Despite, you know, Vanix making the plays afterwards and trying to bring it back for the team, and the fact that there was a good start for JPL, everybody else was so inconsistent coming out from NIP Flash. And maybe you can argue that Hades is doing well, but I think that it is worth noting that NIP Flash didn't actually made a lot of mistakes. I guess I wouldn't sugarcoat it. They made a lot of blunders in the early stages.
You know, and even here in this last big Lord fight, I want to point out Sepap because he did I mean, the Ruby worked very well against the Harith. Every time Vanix would lay down the Zaman's Force, he'd try to get enough shots on, but he'd get locked up there, man. And the thing is the Ruby right now, even building completely tank here essentially, was still outputting a decent amount of damage, especially on someone like a Harith. And it just made it so Vanix in the times that he really needed to get, you know, just one more shot off, it would get delayed.
Yeah, because looking at the build here is all about sustaining, right? Having the War Axe more spellbound, and then having the Oracle, having the Queen's Wings. It's all about, I hit you, I survive longer. And I gotta say, somebody played that very, very well, Wolf.
Yeah. I think especially, I will never forget what Sepat did in the mid lane where he tanked the conceal play, popped the second skill first so that they get started, then goes for the ultimate and then flicker out to eventually outplay the side of the NIP Flash. I think that will...
Oh, yeah.
I will always remember that. I will live rent-free in my head. So yeah, Sepat really did play well in this game.
Talk about that as well. We got to talk about Chibi because in the draft, we already talked about how out of every single player, he has the highest average goal per minute. And in this game, he got the highest goal as well as highest damage dealt. So again, HomeBois so far, they've been looking good. And one of the players that make them look good is Chibi.
Stellar plays coming from Chibi. I like this showdown especially. I think the reason why we're so impressed of Chibi with the Hayabusa was also because Hades was challenging him. Like it was almost like a standoff between two junglers that eventually went in favor of Chibi. There was a time where he was able to shut down Hades. Overall, it was a very nice anime-ish like battle between assassins.
I mean, we're talking about Akage. He picked up a ninja there.
That's right.
Even in the beginning, I mean, they were both, what was it, 6-0 and something, 7-0 and something. They were trading kills. I mean, it was definitely a assassin versus assassin there.
I fairly remember when Hades won 9-0-0.
Yeah.
Chibi was 8-0-3. So they were the
neck and
gold
neck.
was the gold was also very similar, neck and neck. I love this battle, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, like it has been great. Looking at both junglers living up to the hype, because we've been talking about Hades, we've been talking about Chibi, and then in the very first game in this best of 5, both showing their strengths here, and everyone else like, okay, I guess I'll die to you, and then I'll die to you. It's gone to the point where everyone else is like, what about us?
It's all the side characters.
What about us? Yeah, everyone else
battle happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say though, the side characters have to step up at least for the side of NIP Flash. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. They look very shaky after the first few minutes of the game. It's mainly because of the fact that Vanix is dying.
Yeah.
He went 0-3. JPL is not finding the good initiations anymore. He's getting picked apart. Courtesy was phenomenal though. Courtesy was great. I think the way that he managed to utilize the Farsa ult. But Diablo as well, I think he got killed twice in the laning stage. And then when he wanted to initiate, after one final slash, he's not able to kind of refresh the vengeance dashes to eventually sustain the fight. I think people have to step up for NIP Flash. Like I said, the side characters, they need to be the main characters now.
What do you think, Trace? Like, what's your opinion on this matchup?
I think even though they want it to be this huge brawl after game 1, maybe NIP Flash slows down just a little bit. Or, I mean, if you're going to keep on doing this, if you're just going to go blow for blow, then you just got to punch harder, right? There's no other option. And yeah, the rest of the characters do need to step up because they didn't have someone pulling a big Zorn play. Vanix played well, I think. Vanix did good, but even your marksman needs the rest of the team to be able to create
That's true.
space around him, you know, or else he's not going to be able to. They need to keep Sepot away. They need to keep the team at bay so that he can really pop off.
Now, here's the thing. We're going to look at our Sony MVP, and it's Chibi Skibidi, because right now, currently, he has the highest average goal per minute among players, 861. As well, he has the most first bloods. He has 5. And even though HomeBois has played and the thing is, like, they've been playing a lot, because we have to remember, HomeBois has been playing since the wild card stage. Out of all the teams here, HomeBois has played the most.
They've just been warming up, and that's why I feel like Chibi is literally. I mean, it feels like every time we see him play, it's just better and better and better and better.
Chibbity skibbity, as you mentioned. Hayabusa makes a lot of sense versus the Harith. Expect that kind of matchup come through many times. The counter for Chibi should have been this Kaja, but Chibi managed it so well. He gets in and out of the fights before JPL was even able to react. And look at that, the way that he identified that Vanix is very frail in that moment, and then finds him once again onto the backlines in combination with Odil's Dawning Light. This Hayabusa looks very scary. And look at that, that was the seventh play that was thought about, like able to counter the conceal play and then utilize the ultimate to convert for more kills for the side of HomeBois.
Udil as well, man. Some of those Dawning Lights were just timed so perfectly. He never shot them too early. He would wait till everybody was in the right spot and then fire off, and that's when Chibi was able to really come in and just reap sometimes.
While we're looking at our MVP, our Sony MVP with 9.5 KDA, 83% kill participation in this game, 852 goal per minute. I have to ask our gentleman here, like whenever we see Chibi getting those solo kills, you know, against Vanis, against JPL, it comes to the question, is it just because Chibi position himself in a way that he's able to get these kills, or is it mistakes coming in from NIP Flash?
I would say 80% more on Chibi just outplaying the NIP Flash, and maybe Team Flash, NIP Flash, that's 20% on them for being in that spot. For example, Vanix defending the mid, he's a Harith.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to be able to defend the mid like that, especially when there's Hayabusa present. There's the Ruby present as well. There's so many heroes that can jump on him. So I think the 20% was Vanix's fault, for example.
I think when you get to this level of play, right, you have to you have to think about those things, because as you just said, you just pointed out so greatly, the fact that there's a Hayabusa on the field, the Harris should barely ever be alone, especially in sight.
Yeah, and thank you very much to our gentleman here, but it looks like I got word that Steph Weezy was able to talk to a Malaysian influencer. He's able to catch Ombong. So Steph Weezy, what are you talking with Ombong?
We are here with Ombong, all the way out from Malaysia, an amazing KOL and a friend to so many players here at MSC 2024. Ombong, how you doing?
I'm so good. I'm so fun to be here. Thank you to EWC and MSC for inviting me here. But my English is not so good, but I'm trying to speak in English.
Well, speaking of things, that's good. Malaysia, super strong out here for MSC 2024. You currently have 2 teams, SRG and HomeBois, still in the bracket. SRG just made it to top 4. HomeBois having to battle it out for that remaining spot today up against Snip Flash. How does that feel, being from Malaysia, having 2 of your teams still in the competition?
I'm so proud with them, SRG and HomeBois. Then I see the journey to here is very struggle, and they need to compete to other country. And for me, I hope they can go to the final and the champion in MSC. Yeah.
Well, you're friends with many of the players, specifically HomeBois. Do you have any words of advice for their upcoming match against Snip Flash?
Okay, to them, I know they can beat Flash. I trust they can beat Flash, but to the Chibi, I think, just do what I teach you, how to play Assassin properly. Okay, Chibi? All right.
All right, Chibi, you heard it.
Yeah.
Dominate inside of the jungle. HomeBois, good luck on your next match up against Snip Flash. Ombong, thank you so much for your time and enjoy the show.
And now, honestly, like, big shout outs to Ombong. First of all, your English is completely fine.
Yes, sir.
And the thing about Ombong is that when he streams, he says he's the assassin god. He's the Hayabusa player. And I'm pretty sure Chibi showing up with his Hayabusa there, I feel like Ombong would be saying, like, you know what? I taught him how to do that.
Did he?
Honestly, he might.
He might have.
Because his Hayabusa is actually legit. Like HomeBois is a pretty good Hayabusa player. But now we're jumping into the draft here. NIP Flash is going to be first pick. HomeBois is going to be the second pick. Immediately banning out that Angela.
Yeah. The started best Moskov is going to be there for HomeBois. Blue side again for NIP Flash. Very much understandable, especially because they do want to lobby for the first pick. I think this time they might rethink their choice. Maybe Roger should be the first pick instead of Harith. Still one of the most picked slash worst performance hero, right?
What, the Harith?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the top it's one of the low percentage win rates right now.
Number one, actually.
Number one.
Number one.
Just to really throw some
Harith,
salt
yeah.
in there on the Harith players right now.
Fredrin, most used hero for Hades. And this goes back to when he was playing in MPL Indonesia. Well, not this stat, actually. This was the stats that we're seeing are from MPL SG. But when he did play for Geek Fam in MPL Indonesia, did play a lot of Fredrins in there.
So Hades can pull out the utility jungle. It's
For
not,
sure.
It's nothing that he's a slouch on at all.
Absolutely
which
not.
maybe could be the answer here. Maybe not the Fredrin. It hasn't been performing amazingly, but we've seen a lot of teams pick up the Basha. We've seen, you know, different combinations come in. I definitely think they shouldn't count it out when they're going up against HomeBois here.
I like the Roger first pick, if that will be the case for NIP Flash, but they still go for Harith. So, you still go Roger.
Yeah. I mean, no reason to change it up, right? And then, I mean, honestly, for HomeBois, with that kind of, I would say good showing of the draft. I feel like if they're going to switch out, I feel like they're just going to switch out maybe one or two heroes. But I still feel like Roger Ruby will be very solid here.
Yeah, I think NIP Flash wants them to switch it up, and I think HomeBois the right choice is, yeah, just keep it. If they want to pick the same, we pick the same. They just beat them with it, and they beat them comfortably with it. And it wasn't just, yes, Chibi played a great game, but everyone else as well were able to carry with the heroes that they had. But this time, HomeBois is going to lock in the Hayabusa early on in the first picks.
Hayabusa. You're even incentivized to go for somewhere along the lines of a Minotaur as well as a Tigreal now for NIP Flash. The Kaja didn't work.
Right now we have a quote coming in from NIP Flash Diablo. The most threatening in HomeBois is Chibi as well as Zorn. But I would say more on Chibi. Zorn can be shut down. Just don't give him the momentum, man. Looking at game number one, I would say they did exactly that. Martis! We haven't seen this one for quite a while, so this is the 78th hero?
This probably is.
We're getting closer to 80, boys.
Closer to 80.
Oh, man. A Joe and a Martis. I don't know how to feel about this. This is like, if you're Zorn, you're so tempted to go for a Kufra. And this particular matchup.
It does give them some aggressiveness in the early game, though, if they want to try to go for an invade. I think Martis, we haven't seen him at all in MSC yet. Was that his debut pick, right? That's what you just said, LaFell. And I think if there's a jungler pick that can survive in the new revamped enemy jungle and possibly pull off a kill, it could be the Martis with the decimation or something like that, especially with the Cho behind him. If they can put a nice aggressive mid laner, could be the answer.
Xana is the choice here for HomeBois. Reckon they would go for another sustain hero for Sapat. That's so that they will have a good synergy. I'm still curious about this Martis because I don't think that it's one of the strongest heroes out there. No. And most importantly, is third pick. There's the Faramis, but it is actually banned by HomeBois, which I thought they could have used. Especially, that is an answer to the Martis. Martis doesn't like to play against Faramis because you just cannot decimate people.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I watch MPLSG. Sometimes they do this thing where they put Martis mid lane. I don't think they'll be doing it for this game. Dude, trust me. MPLSG is quite the ride, right? In terms of spicy pickups, they do have a lot of spicy pickups. But now, the Farum is getting banned out. For NIP Flash, should they be focusing more on Zorn or Supply? Sure. With that being said, Edith kind of hits both.
Yeah. Edith is it is a great ban because it's an open, like I said. Arlet may be the next one.
Get rid of the Grok again, maybe too.
Oh yeah, the Grok also. It's a Harry.
Rock's a nice. You get the passive and everything to nullify the CC coming from the Cho and the Martis, so it could be a solid answer.
Nana, very interesting ban here.
Okay. Oh, sorry. These are heroes that might be able to counter the assassins, right? I would suggest Aurora for NIP Flash. It's gonna be great for Curteasy. Aurora and Cho, so much lockdown, and I can deliver also the damage. At the same time, you're looking for a Shredder because you already have your sweeper, right, with a Martis. You're looking for a constant source of damage, which could come from Farsa, for example, which we know Kurt also uses a lot.
It's definitely up in the air right now. NIP Flash, I think, again, for me, I think Zorn's a major
Kaja.
problem. They got to watch out for him. They get rid of the Kaja, which Kaja definitely can be a problem to the Martis, can be a problem even to the Cho when you try to dive in, or can catch the Harith off. So covering their bases, HomeBois on first pick here, need an EXP laner, need a roamer.
Arlott.
You get a little bit of both.
Exactly.
A little bit of both.
Yep.
A great fourth pick,
Great fourth
honestly,
pick,
because it gives them so much flex for that fifth.
Somewhere else, Ruby, somewhere along the lines of Ruby, but Arlott is actually the best because you provide so much for your team. But I think you're stuck with Aurora now if you're an NIP Flash. And then you're looking for an EXP lane that can match up. Therisa's still open. Ooh. Makes a lot of sense versus the Arlott. Not much about it against Roger. I wonder if NIP Flash are considering the CC actually. CC provides you the physical damage in the latter portions of the game and also cannot be easily killed by the members of HomeBois.
And also can kite along with the Roger pretty well, can
Yeah.
kind of dance back and forth. But
Wait, is
is that it? Is this what you were talking about?
Julian mid.
Mid lane Julian, actually no.
Yep.
Or
This could be a
mid
mid-
lane
yeah,
Martis.
Nah. I feel like this is mid lane Julian for sure. At
He's
one
got a
point,
77% win rate.
it should be a mid lane Julian. I do feel like that should be the case. And NIP Flash, they want to double down. It's like we still like to brawl, so this might be a good lineup to go up against HomeBois.
Oh,
Get your gloves out.
Like every single one of these picks, they're able to fight at level 4 essentially. Even the Harry might need the Starlium side, but after that you should be fine. And HomeBois closes it out with a
what a
Terizla.
solid lineup from HomeBois.
Personally, for me, like I like the spice that NIP Flash is showing. So thank you very much, Wolf, as well as Strex. Now that the draft is over, I'm gonna be passing it over to our caster for game number 2 of NIP Flash versus HomeBois.
Thank you guys so much. Again, breaking down the draft here again. Interesting draft, I'd say.
Interesting.
And, it's me, Naisu, and Miracle once again to bring you game number 2 here. And they talked about how the dynamics of these teams when it comes to drafting before we got to the match, this speaks volumes here.
Yeah, but also, there's going to be a crazy change, by the way. You guys will find out in the game because we're not going to reveal it to you just yet. But don't worry, Naisu, take us to the land of Dom, baby.
Well, we're jumping to the land of Dawn. Game number 2 here once again. After a close action-packed game 1, we go at it for game 2. Looking to even out the series here, of course, for NIP Flash.
There you go.
And yes, there you go. It's not a mid lane Julian. It's actually a mid lane Martis?
Yeah, it's a mid lane Martis. I think we have seen this in MPL SG. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see something crazy like this all the way from game number 2 for NIP Flash. They know if HomeBois get this game, it's going to be match point for them. So might as well try to go for something crazy now than later on in match point.
This would almost be true to hold on. Wow, look at the damage already on Zorn.
With the Mortal Coil, and that's going to be first blood straight up with the help of the Jeet Kune Do. Zorn saving the Flicker, not giving it or not using it just yet.
I think he was even just like, yeah, I'm going to be okay. But instead he goes down. And also real quick, looking at the emblems here. Again, just Warcry emblem here for Chibi, of course, after the previous performance. But yeah, my eyes are also going to be on this Martis, on how this is going to work in the mid lane, because this does change some of the rotations or some of the timings even for this lineup from NIP Flash. And I would really say this draft, man, is very fitting to the name. Like, they're ninjas in pajamas, man.
They're certainly ninjas in pajamas. They're something you don't expect, right? I mean, with the draft as well. I feel like the idea is if HomeBois wants to brawl, sure, let's brawl with them. Because that's what the Martis is meant to do in these brawls. Vanix, though, taking a wrong step forward, now punished instantly by the Chain CC and the Lycan Pounce. JPL, no way to actually go in towards Zorn or Nets, so he'll have to just concede that one kill back to HomeBois.
That's a good pickup, though, too. You know, Nets getting that early kill already in the gold lane is going to help out with the matchup against the Harith. Of course, you know, lane-wise, it can be either or, but Turtle's up now. Objective for the taking here, and that's just going to be NIP Flash securing it very easily. So again, trading here, top lane. Get the flicker out from Diablo, so no dice there on the top.
Just a flicker. Diablo knows better than to take on Sapot, especially with the help of Udo there. Chain CC, very, very easy to do with HomeBois' composition. But we do have a game fact here. From MSC 2017 until now, chose the most picked hero. With this pick as the 158th, recording over a 56% win rate from the start of MSC.
That's, I don't know, we got to give him like a MSC skin or something.
An MSC skin?
he needs one. At this point, he's Mr. MSC. You know, and with the recent change to the show, I feel like that's really what put him in a position where when we made that transition to like old meta to where we are now, he fits so well in it because, you know, we've seen this so many times where it's all about the fighting. It's all about these skirmishes early on. Just like this mid.
Shadow kill into the mid lane or just the quad shadow. No shadow kill. He didn't use it. Curteasy, great more to coil to actually escape from it. Utilizing the CC in his kit and then flickering out.
Good defense. But, you know, again, Chibi can actually just visit the lane again and possibly get the next kill. Also, really, when Chibi does get the Sky Piercer, I'm not sure if he's going to follow the exact same build as previous. But once that's online, then it gets, you know, a little bit more scary, especially when you're on a Martiz sitting in the mid lane. So we find ourselves once again kind of at a stalemate until 30 seconds. This Turtle's going to come up here. You can see already placements to Zorn waiting patiently there. Taking a look at the items real quick. Okay, the Sky Piercer's already online for Chibi. And on the other side, Hades hasn't locked in his first item just yet. He went for the penetration boots, so he's got that. And then over, even for the Martis here, for Curteasy, doesn't have his just yet. So, again, Sky Piercer is going to be picked up almost all the time first because it's only 1,500 gold. You know, it's pretty cheap for the amount of pressure it can apply to these fights on a Hayabusa.
Yeah, and for Hades, you know, on the Julian, I think it's normal right now to see Julian just go for the Holy Crystal for his item, and that's what he's pathing for in the item builds. JPL trying to find an angle now as HomeBois are first onto the second turtle of the game. Deja vu to game number one because that's exactly what happened as well. Hades walking forward, now going to be locked down. Zorn caught in the way. The Dragon still able to escape for now, but Vanix now with the Zaman Force able to dodge away from the final slash, picking up the kill. Curteasy in the mid lane will be picked up, but Nets will fall as well. In the bottom side, it's a trade, 2 for 1, but HomeBois get the turtle.
Okay, JPL should be fine. He's going to stay here, of course. Try to annoy Sapot.
Called Shadow in, now with a Shadow kill. JPL flickers using the blink to escape from the Shadow kill. Well played.
Well played. Also, they're going to go ahead and get the turret. Really good decisions coming out here from NIP Flash. Warax is also going to be picked up now for Diablo. So, you know, still, it's the same story, Miracle. It's just like we saw from the previous game. It's just different lineups where really they're mirroring each other objectively, and even when it comes to the team fights. Earlier, you saw it was like a 3 versus 1 on both sides of the map. And so they find themselves now looking for their next objective takes. Looking for the turret, first one for HomeBois.
The Dragon? The Vengeance actually cancels it just for a bit, but Curteasy will be able to pick up the Decimate right with the Chain CC together with the Enhanced Chain knockup. And now he has a Sky Piercer. That's a Decimate Sky Piercer Martis.
I was going to say, you know, you see the Holy Crystal being built up here too. Mid lane should be fine. Okay, yes. Sky Piercer Decimate. What do we even call that? Decimate Pierce?
The Sky Decimate?
Dude, what happens first? The Decimate or the... Yeah, I guess the Decimate.
I think so. Sapot, ooh. Penalty zone, locking him down. JPL able to dash forward, and it's going to be Hades who just takes him out. Final slash displacing JPL. No one following up. Nets. Now the Lycan Pounce over to Vanix. Hades gets an enhanced chain, and it's enough to disengage from the skirmish.
I don't know. It seems like there's some like hesitation as well from the HomeBois.
Yeah.
Like on how they want to approach some of those fights, because I know it's JPL, I know it's a Cho pick, I know it's the most picks at MSC, but you know, that looked like they could have possibly gotten a kill there, but also maybe just the fact of we're respecting the fact that Hades actually has a lot of damage. He does have, you know, this Julian who's going to be able to shred through some of these members from HomeBois. And again, it's a little bit tricky on trying to even capitalize a kill on Martis JPL again.
Wait, the Dragon straight into the penetration, but no decimate just yet. Sapat able to flicker full out of that skirmish. Now Zorn gonna be caught by the damage coming from Zaman Force. The Shadow Kill comes in to deal some damage. Curtizi using a Mortal Coil. Chibi dancing left and right, but will finally be caught by Curtizi on Martis, who gets a double.
Gets a double. That's a Decimate Pierce. The Sky Piercer Decimate combination is too much for HomeBois to handle.
Skibidi Martis.
Skibidi Martis, mid lane.
Knock up, forcing to purify. I'm offended from Diablo, but the final slash catches them. Zorn unable to capitalize on that final slash, and it's actually him who gets picked off.
Oh man, again, HomeBois, like you're wondering, was just this too much of a feint? As we look at the STC replay here, great initiation again, even under the turret. And they get a kill off of all of that. So, HomeBois, they got to be wondering, scratch fans like, okay.
Look at that.
Yeah, see that? They were so stunned by the replay that they stayed in time. But for HomeBois, man, again, it's kind of like, where do we turn things around? Looking at the items real quick, Sapat is not where he needs to be. All he has is a War Axe. And honestly, I feel like he gets whittled down. Oh, go for him again.
JPO with the G-Kundo. Sapat used the penalty zone, but he gets knocked up, gets decimated, gets pierced, gets everything.
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 He gets thrown in a Zaman Force. And that's what I was going to go when I was looking at Sapat. Even the previous fight before he just got blown up now was, man, I feel like it's just confusion. Like he's swinging that big mace in a Zaman Force and everything is so difficult to lock down, even with the penalty zone, because of the way that even this Martis fits the bill here for this NIP Flash lineup. And so they find themselves, the shields are being popped, of course, from HomeBois already this early on. Lord is still 30 seconds away, so this is a big advantage for NIP Flash.
Massive. The fact that they got a holy defense already in the bottom lane with the base turret there without the Lord is impressive. How they've been able to utilize this early game composition has been great, but one thing stays true, which is how are they going to deal with the mid-game threat? Because technically for HomeBois, they still have that to play with, right? Around the neutral objectives as well. They have a very, very good combo. That is bad timing for saying good combo because the final slash literally just missed. But for NIP Flash, this should just be a free Lord. They were all in the bottom lane, so NIP Flash capitalized on it. They weren't even able to go for any trade. They tried to get a kill on JPL. I think even if they did get that, it wouldn't really have been worth it.
JPL would have still accomplished his mission. It's pretty much just to be a nuisance to HomeBois right now. Oh!
I'm offended, but it's on Sapat. Three-man final slash down to the penalty zone. Locking him down. Eternal Guard down on the back line. Chibi goes in for the shadow kill. Dealing some damage. Sapat able to dash or get out now. As Curtizi gets over the Mortal Coil. The Dragon. JPL finding the flicker play as Hades locks him down. And Vanix executes him. NIP Flash now looking to utilize the Lord.
This is, again, so impressive what they've been able to accomplish with this lineup. And man, I don't know, my personal MVP already is going to be JPL here because he has been a nuisance to HomeBois. And now Lord making its way on the bottom side. They're going to try to defend. JPL going to go in again.
Good Terrify, but he wants to bait out some of these resources. Two-man G-Kundo. He's bought enough time, but Diablo is going to be caught with the final slash. Able to find the Donor Wolf King, but will not be able to escape. Sapat penalty zone, locking Vanix down, but he does still have the Zaman Force, and the Decimate gets rid of him. Curtizi looking for one more. TVO going to be caught by the Decimate, but the Piercer doesn't execute him. He's still able to get out with the Quad Shadow, but they have cracked the base open. That's one base turret in the bottom lane taken down.
Okay, HomeBois gonna be okay. STC replay here. You're looking at JPL goes in, trying to just actually force this. He's supposed to die in the exchange there, and then they want to get that turret. And they probably could have got a couple kills, but instead they have to go on the defensive. Good try there from HomeBois to even cap out on some kills. But ultimately, it's Chibi that survive. And with that, again, they bought themselves some more time. JPL goes in with Conceal, is not going to find anything. Gets information, though, here, at least for this purple buff. And HomeBois, I mean, you're looking at it, they're kind of forced to stay together because of what JPL's capable of doing. Not just JPL, Diablo, too. Whenever that flicker is available, he's been doing it time and time again. The I'm Offended flicker combination on this Ruby has been hell to deal with for HomeBois. So now finding themselves once again on this defensive mode. It's more so like we just got to farm up. BOD was just picked up here, but I don't know, man. How much time does HomeBois need to equalize things here?
I don't know. I think it really depends on nets. But even then, he's actually opted to go for a little bit more of a defensive utility build with a Thunder build.
Yep.
And the endless battle first item. That's a build that I don't really see too often. So already a very interesting build path. But speaking of interesting, Hunter Strike, normal. Sky Piercer, normal. Queen's Wings, third item, by the way, for Kurt Teasy. So his plan is, I go in, I get a kill, and hopefully I get out.
Hopefully I get out with the wings, but also the mortal coil. Like that. And that's what I'm saying. The way team fights go, it's really difficult for HomeBois because if you're looking at the lineup from NIP Flash, it's like, how do you catch some of these guys? You know, they're literally, again, it's ninja-like in a way, and they're going to be able to go ahead and just get this Lord because HomeBois, it's so difficult for them to fight. They're way too late to approach this. I'm not sure. Diablo could possibly force a situation, but they don't. They take the discipline route. They're like, you know what? We're going to go ahead, wait for the Lord to come in. We got 2 base turrets to knock down from HomeBois, and then here we are 1-1 in the series. They could possibly be a game-winning push here. Depending on how this goes, they're probably going to take the purple buff as well. Divine Glaive now locked in too for Vanix. So for HomeBois, I'm really just thinking here, you know, 8,000 gold behind. You somehow need to withstand the pick-off potential that's going to be forced from NIP Flash as they kind of just have to watch. Oh, hold on, Zorn.
And that's Shane canceling out that final slash, but for them, it's all about utilizing the Lord, right? They don't want to get too aggressive, but right as I say that, that's concealed from JPL. Over to Jikundong, possibly onto Udil, uses the Shunpo, and he was able to zone them away from that base turret. Easy take for NIP Flash, as now they're looking for the final base turret up top. Chibi sent to deal with it. Hades now looking for it. Shadow Kill used up, the Winter Crown is there. Chibi dashes forward, watch out, JPL with a Way of the Dragon, and Diablo takes him out. Final penalty zone onto 3 members. That's going to enhance Shane to knock them up straight into Vanix's damage. On this Unforced Vanix going wild. Getting the triple kill as Kurt Teasy goes godlike. NIP Flash 1-1.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have a series on our hands. Man, like true ninjas in pajamas, NIP Flash comes out with a brilliant lineup. Something a lot of people did not expect to see a Martez in the mid lane. And JPL, my personal MVP, my personal GOAT for game number 2 here. Man, what a game for him.
If Liquid Echo have JP, NIP Flash have JPL.
JPL. Oh, man. Again, great lineup. I love that we talked about how these 2 teams are the teams to bring out this spice or bring out drafts that you might be scratching your head about sometimes, you know? And I'm sure the guys over on the panelist stand also are scratching their heads, so we're going to throw it over to them to break down game 2.
Well, what we can say is it's definitely a brawl. And okay, first of all, let's talk about this Martez pick. We talked about this during the draft. It is one of the things that we've seen in MPLSG, but I thought in MSC they would be like, okay, maybe this won't work here, but they're just like, we're bringing in the Singapore flavor to MSC, so they showed up with the Martez mid with the Sky Piercer, and it worked out.
I mean, it almost feels like a counter to the aggressive assassin builds that some teams are bringing, just because how do you even deal with that in the early game?
Especially because Sky Piercer is so cheap.
Yeah.
One of the cheapest items out there. And also because of the fact that Martez just won't work. I mean, when it was first phase picked by NIP Flash, I already told you guys that I don't like it because it doesn't work against assassins. Turns out it's not going to be the jungler. And in this case, after Hunter Strike goes for the Queen's Wings, good for Breastplate, there's no way you can take out Kurt Teasy. And he played so well. I think that you probably don't know this, but Kurt used to play in the offlane role before. This was before XP Lane and Golden was established. It was called an offlaner, you know?
A few questions in mind, but before that, I do have to say JPL on this show has been amazing. And let's talk about Cho. 158 times being picked since 2017 up until now in the MSC alone, with like what, 56% win rate. That's an amazing stat for the hero.
For sure.
He's a hero that just never seems to go away.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's always there.
Either a damage dealer or a roam.
You know,
all the way back like EXP.
EXP jungle anywhere.
Times.
I think that difference of performance for JPL between game 1 and 2, it's night and day. You can compare it with his gacha, where he was able to get initial kills the first few minutes, but then in the mid game he suffered. Now he's very much comfortable.
Question that both me and Trex we actually talk about. It's very interesting to think about this, but how does the Sky Piercer actually work with Decimate? Because the thing is, if you decimate and it's not the decimate that gets the kill, it's the Sky Piercer proc that gets the kill, the lethality.
Yeah.
Does it reset the decimate or does it not reset? You know, it's like a lot of questions when it comes to the item.
I say yes.
I believe that if you use the decimate and if it doesn't kill, if any other damage input is the one that takes out the opponent, it will not reset the decimate. Let's just say that for some reason you have glowing wand, for example, with the decimate.
Or an orange buff.
Or an orange buff.
But don't orange buff and glowing wand apply separate damage?
Yeah, that's separate.
I'm pretty sure Sky Piercer is part of your damage.
Yeah.
It just adds what's needed to your attack. So it's not like it's not like when the numbers pop up, it's a separate number. I think
Right.
it still counts as the decimate.
I mean, I don't know. We usually see the true damage 999. So is that?
Oh yeah, the
considered-
999.
Right.
That's
So it might consider as a, you know, again, this is one of those things where we nerd out behind the scenes, like we're talking about how it works, etc., etc. But again, this is a brawl. NIP Flash going up against HomeBois, really living up to what they've been talking about before the match even starts. They just want to fight it out. And I gotta say, Curteasy, fighter mid, that might be the adjustments that makes it so that HomeBois is like, okay, you know what, we've seen this before, but we would not thought we would fight against it. So what's next? How do you answer this?
At the same time, it's like a Hayabusa and Harith picked up first 2 picks though, so I think NIP Flash would know better how to handle that. So I think it's not much about the choices here for NIP Flash, but you revealing so much in your first 2 picks.
And I also have to talk about how the performances of the roamer really does impact the team, because in this game, Zorn using the Arlet, he was the first one to die in that exchange in the mid, and then after that we didn't see a lot of good pickups coming in from Zorn using the Arlet. He's amazing on the show, but honestly, this might be the matchup where as much as the strong damage dealers are impacting the game, we gotta talk about the roamers as well.
Well, I think Zorn, he's the type of roamer who wants to be in your face all the time. And when you see a lot of roamers like that, when they take an early death, it immediately kind of puts them in this place. It's like, oh, maybe I can't be the Zorn that I normally always am, right? Maybe I can't be the roamer that I normally always am. And then it kind of sets him back to whereas JPL, comparative to game 1 and now he's the one who's in their face and the whole table has been flipped a little bit. But I'm wondering, you know, should Zorn have, after that, should he have kept on getting vision for his team? You know, he's kind of put in a weird spot, and I think that's where the Martis comes in. It was a cheesy pick, right? It comes in, it throws you completely off guard. You don't know how to play against it. You don't know what to do, especially roamer to roamer. Like, how many times do you think Zorn's ever gone up against a Martis roam, you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, here's the thing. We're talking about the roamers. Let's talk about our Sony MVP. And it's going to be JPL on that show. Again, we talked about this show and JPL really showing up. Like, even behind the scenes when we were watching, it's like, how did he get that kick? Like, he was he was prepared for all these engages.
I think that it goes with his maybe mastery, you know, maybe this time it's confidence. Maybe game number 1 was just an off game for him, that he's not able to find his openings. But in this particular game, I think we are now seeing the strength of the buffed Cho, in a way, or balanced Cho, with the Jeet Kundo having so much more, covering so much more ground. And at the same time though, if you're snowballing like this and then everybody's just dashing through, like all of the heroes coming out from NIP Flash are dashing, so you're just more comfortable initiating for your team because everybody can just follow through easily.
Honestly, for me, the question really is, like, usually you see cheese picks working out very well in one game. Now we got to see if it will actually pop up in the 3rd game of this match, or they're like, okay, it's a little bit too risky, maybe we won't show it again. And even if they do show it again, it's all on HomeBois whether they can respond or not. But again, JPL on this show, I feel like for both teams, they got to respect this pick. almost to the point where if you're a second pick, you might actually pick it up immediately just so that you don't give it over, because JPL with the Cho, 13 KDA with 81% kill participation.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think it's possible to get picked again. I think the real job that this does for NIP Flash is kind of reset the draft. Now, HomeBois is forced to kind of switch it up a little bit. You know, not maybe go for those same exact response picks that we've been seeing them as they're on the red side. And that works out for NIP. They were able to kind of reset things, bring it back to ground one, and look at Cho, Mr. MSC.
Actually,
as Nice who called him.
now that I think about it, this time HomeBois, they had the option to go up with the Roger as well as Ruby. The fact that they didn't pick up the Ruby would have been a good answer to the Cho. So why didn't they pick up the Ruby? Why was it Roger Hayabusa? Why switch it up from game number 1?
Well, you know what they say, you want to surprise your opponents. I think that they identified that the Hayabusa might be stolen by NIP Flash, actually, because that could be a potential answer, right? Because we know for sure that they can handle it. And if they do pick up the Ruby, they will not have the answer to the Hayabusa. I'm not saying that they actually did the right thing. I still agree with you. I think the Ruby would have been a much better choice. At the same time, this is why best of fives are amazing, because now you steal your opponent's picks and then you kind of change it up. You overthink your draft typically.
And as we saw, I would say that the thing of that MSC has shown, sometimes keeping it simple might be the right answer. With that being said, this game, there's a lot to break down for it. So with the assistant of Bob, Wolf, can you show us what happened in game?
Oh yeah, there were so many things that happened in game, but I would just like to show everyone the last clash, which I thought was amazing because, again, JPL is gonna be showing us how comfortable it is. So you can see that the turret has been taken out, so that's a massive thing for a side of NIP Flash. They focused on that one. That was the first step, and now they can now be aggressive. If you slowly look at it, Udil is gonna land a very good spell out there, but Hades goes for Chibi instead. So he knows that he can actually dive because he just freshly picked up the Winter Scrap, right? So this is just a few seconds ago, he was able to pick it up, and then he has the damage now for Chibi, and then we can see that JPL is just looking for an angle to support his teammate, and then he eventually finds it. Now they now corral to anyone who gets into their box, although technically speaking, assassin based lineups like this one for NIP Flash don't necessarily have a box kind of strategy or a formation because you're like all over the place. But once you eliminate one of your opponents, and then, you know, what usually happens is that in this case, HomeBois will desperately want to get a pickoff. They will get into the box of NIP Flash, and then they get decimated one after the other.
Although I have to say, looking at the highlight that you showed just now, it's all about Hades on that Julian. The enhanced chain really is a big game changer when it comes to the engages.
I think just with the coils, the enhanced chain, and then JPL throwing in a kick here and there, they always had some way to kind of catch HomeBois off there. Nobody was safe from that composition during that game.
Yeah.
So honestly, looking at game number 3, it's really about the draft as well, because we've seen game number 1 and game number 2. It's been very, very impactful. Game number 1, it was pretty even between NIP Flash against HomeBois, but game number 2, it was, honestly, in my opinion, it was all NIP Flash.
Yep.
Now it comes to the question, are they going for that Martis mid again, since HomeBois didn't seem to have an answer, but now that HomeBois have seen it, what's going to be planned? Because like you guys have said, you don't usually see this kind of things in scrims.
I think that this Martis in the mid lane is more of a special sword that you bring out on special occasions. Maybe a special China that you chose, that you show when there are special guests.
You bring out the nice China when the HomeBois are here.
Exactly. So I think might not be repeating that kind of stuff, but if the situation calls for it, they're gonna bring it out.
Can I just say I have no idea what you guys are talking about?
You know,
the special China?
The special China that you bring out when the HomeBois come over?
Yeah.
The good plates?
Are you acting now, or it's one of your best plates, like a good design, usually fragile ceramic, actually top of the line.
That's what you guys are talking about.
Bring out the good silverware. The real silverware for the HomeBois.
I only have paper plates.
Well,
we'll get you some China.
All right, thank you very much. And now we're jumping into the draft pick here. HomeBois is going to be the first pick, NIP Flash, second pick here. HomeBois is still banning the Louis, even though they have the option to pick it up, and they're banning out the Moskov. NIP Flash banning out the Chip as well as the Angela. So even though they switch sides, in terms of the ban, not that much different here.
Yeah. That means Roger is the priority for HomeBois, I would say. I think this is the actual time where we will know the priorities of the teams. Like, for example, HomeBois, they're first picking the Roger because of the fact that the Harris was picked up anyways. In the moment where they do have the chance to pick up the Harith, will they pick up the Harith? We'll find out.
I mean, this is a good opportunity for NIP Flash to kind of switch things up as well, because now finally the side changes. NIP Flash on red side, they get second pick. And it's going to kind of change up. Like, I think we really start back to ground one here in terms of draft, at least. I don't think it's going to be exactly the same as game one, and I don't think it's going to be exactly the same as game two.
I do agree with the Roger pickup here now that Ling has been banned out, and then
Harith.
Oh, they're picking up the Harith.
So
interesting.
At least between these two teams, Harith should be the priority. That's been proven.
Ruby Roger for NIP Flash now. The mirror draft.
I think they will want to go Cho, actually.
Yeah.
Cho Roger.
But then HomeBois will pick up the Ruby just to fight back.
Yeah, that's also very true. So, or Moscow. Moscow is banned, unfortunately. So yeah, this should be Roger Cho. That's my guess here for NIP Flash. Maybe. Do they pick up the Ruby? Oh my God,
I'm the wolf now.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, now HomeBois, it's asking Zord. Now that you've seen the Ruby, do you want to pick up the Cho? I kind of personally feel like might as well just pick up the Grok while it's still open. Pick up the Grok and then have an aggressive mid laner just so that you can actually start applying pressure in the mid.
What if HomeBois just picks up the Martis? They should exchange.
Like,
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain.
I'm the captain now.
I believe that the better option, I would say Grok looks good. Edith for HomeBois also looks really good.
Pick up a Vex here, maybe?
Did they want to get the Odile hero as soon as possible?
Oh, Nolan Cho. Oh, they're accepting the challenge. Cho going up against Ruby.
And the Nolan, that is tough because the Nolan too wants to dive in, and if you get hit by just one of those second skills, man, it is, you're stuck, and that's all Roger needs. That's all, that's all anybody needs, just that half a second of time.
Okay.
And the Hayabusa pickup here.
Wow, this is so
both. You know what? Both
looks
teams.
Familiar.
Both teams might as well just share the same hero pool.
Are we sure they're on the right side? Are these drafts are on the right?
Oh my God! Well, the AR says so. So literally, HomeBois. This is like the first two picks. Oh, it's not really the first two picks, but the first two picks of HomeBois are the heroes that NIP Flash used against their composition, which happens to be NIP Flash's composition.
So we'll.
Okay.
If Hayabusa wins again, do we just want to say, at least in this match, the Hayabusa is better than the Nolan?
At least between these two, yeah.
At least between these two, yeah.
Or is it all because Ruby?
Interesting.
That's what Mirko always says as well. Interesting.
Interesting.
Okay, I do like the Grok. I thought that HomeBois could have utilized that too, but they do ban it. Well, because that was their hero in game number 1, right? That was Sword's hero, so they just banned it. You know what? Maybe they just banned Vexana. Was it Vexana in game 1? It was Vexana, right? For Odile.
I think Vexana was game 2.
Okay.
Odile, I think NIP Flash had Farza in game 1.
Yeah, NIP Flash had Farza,
Odile had...
He had Vex.
He had one of those heroes. He had
a
the
mage.
Yeah.
he had Xavier.
Xavier. There you go. So, we haven't seen it for such a long time, but we can't remember it. NIP Flash. I would say banning out the Vexana could be a good pick here. So yeah, Vexana has been banned out.
Literally just... Okay, this is what works with us. Let's ban it out.
Interesting.
Okay. HomeBois, did they ban... if they ban Xavier here, I'm gonna... Okay, so it is going to be the Kaja. You're gonna be looking for your mage, probably for NIP Flash.
What if they pick up the Edith? Just put the either or EXP and they pick up the Farsa instantly.
Okay. It's gonna be their answer, the Farsa.
I'm honestly not mad if HomeBois picks up the
Xavier
Lilia.
again.
No Grok's banned.
For HomeBois, could well be the Xavier, right?
Is Aurora fine here?
Aurora is great.
Yeah.
For any of the teams actually, but then again, the Farsa was already taken by NIP Flash. That eliminates that factor. And yes, Aurora is really good against the composition of NIP Flash. Then they will be looking for what Terizla at the end. Good combination. Have so much sustain, and then maybe the outlier is Edith, but I'm thinking like Aurora plus the Edith now. Or sorry, Aurora plus Terizla for HomeBois.
I don't know, man. The Aurora is kind of immobile, so it's a little scary up against a. They go for the Xavier. That's been their lean-to here, man.
Maybe they just like the Xavier Farsa matchup.
Do you want to go Lolita now if you're NIP Flash? Okay versus the Harith. Great versus the Xavier.
There's nothing more
what about
satisfying than
Minotaur?
sending back a Dawning Light.
Yeah.
Minotaur, or just put this Ruby in the room and then just put a, I don't know, a Yuzong in the EXP or something?
Honestly, a Tiger looks really good for NIP Flash. It counters the Nolan in many ways. At the same time, Mino looks good. Ruby Roam, and then if that case, Yuzong makes a lot of sense.
Just because it helps deal with the Cho, like you were talking about, LaFell, I think it could go.
Yeah, the Tigreal.
Yeah, they're gonna trigger here. Looks like the Ruby will be going to the EXP. So the question is, for the casters, I'm pretty sure you guys will think one of the draft is interesting. The question is, which one? With that being said, we're throwing it over to Nice and Mirko.
Thanks so much, and yes, you know what? I'll go ahead and say it already. They're both interesting. How about you, Mirko?
Interesting. I don't know. Looking like a close game, honestly, again, right? Just like in game number 1.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be a stomp like game number 2. So I'm all in for it. This time, Hades on the Hayabusa. Love the flair of Hades on an Assassin. Last time back in MPL Indonesia, every time he picks Assassin, it always just feels so much faster than when he's on the utility picks.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are rejoicing again, as this whole series so far has been, you know, its own form of an anime show between the junglers, swapping these jungle picks, swapping these assassin picks even, if you will. And, you know, when you're thinking about it, it does set the momentum, it does set the pace of the game. But it looks like we are ready to go ahead and jump into the Land of Dawn here for the next game. It's a 1-1 right now. Game number 3 ahead of us. We'll see which of these teams, either HomeBois or NIP Flash, will pull ahead in this best of 5. Once again, with everything on the line here, the amazing prize pool at MSC 2024, and also the keys that we've been seeing getting crushed for the past days now. Look at this already, early aggression on JPL. He might have to get out of there.
One last hit is all
he holds on.
He needs, but JPL holds on to the flicker, holds on. He actually does pop the regen. So that's going to be a big resource in the early phase of the game if this poke continues. That's why I think every single time they go for the Xavier, they need something like a Grok, they need something like a Cho. They need a super fast clearer as a roamer to really make the Xavier work.
Here's the question, man. How do we feel about the side lane of Barrett's? I mean, for the longest time, he was just in the jungle. He was part of the utility pool of heroes. Now he's in the jungle against the Ruby.
For me, wait, Quad Shadow in on Zorn, forced the flicker out. Hades looking for the play, Mystic Field catches him. Now the Shunpo as well. Zorn gonna be caught with the first blood. Hades will have no more Quad Shadows to escape, and that's a trade. The jungler, Chibi, getting the kill over to Hades.
Okay, Chibi gets the early kill in terms of these jungles here, but of course Hades got one as well. So, you know, pretty relatively even, but good response there. And I'm actually surprised that Zorn's still able, even as low as he was. Okay, wings by wings. Gonna keep Curtizi okay. But again, I think this is really, just like we watched JPL in the previous game, you know, you're gonna have to really keep an eye on Zorn. Where is he initiating from? You know, where is he poking from? Where does he get the Way of Dragons off?
I mean, look at how oppressive the Xavier is in lane. Even without the Cho is nowhere near the mid lane. Up top already, Mystic Field, Zorn able to get the 2-man knockup. The Shadow Kill comes through as well. Now Retribution, it's Hades who steals it from across the wall as a Feather Airstrike takes him low. Diablo in the chase, up against Sofa, brings him back, but he got the dash earlier. Diablo unable to get the kill even with the last shot. And now Chibi is waiting for a play, an assassination attempt, but unable to find the right angle. But to answer your question,
Barrett's in the side lane.
Barrett's in the side lane. I actually like the Barrett's in the side lane.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, you know, with this fight brought to us by STC, the replay here, you know, for the most part, it was a good exchange, and the Barrett survives. You know, luckily he's able to get that little bit of a dash and escape death. And I think that's the thing I want to know for the Barretts in the side lane, because we just don't see them too often, you know, in the current meta things. But we know that the Daytona's Welcome with the Flicker can actually be a pretty good playmaker. And I think what we're seeing a lot of this exchange now is also the fact that Xavier with the Mystic Field paired up with the fact that, okay, when you lock someone down, of course you have Dawning Light, but it also sets things really well for Chibi to utilize a pick-off with the Fracture or just the burst potential. There's
That's why I
Daytona's
like
Welcome.
him. Daytona's Welcome sets up for the Fracture, but Diablo able to get the Don't Run Wolf King. Now Chibi on the chase, one last hit, and he is able to find Diablo under the turret. You're so good at catching people.
Yeah, you know, and that's the power of the lineup too. And I like, that's the thing. How many ultimates are actually available in the game that have this like global presence? Xavier is still, I would say, probably one of the best. I know you can argue like, oh, Spear of Destruction, and then you have
not as
Dawning
instant.
Light, but it's not as instant. And the threat there, Zorn goes in, checks things out. Mystic Field not going to land either. If that would have landed, then they probably would have fallen up. Chibi's still waiting patiently for Kurt.
With the Fracture, now the Tiki Lethal Ignition, one last Tiki finds it. 3-0 Chibi on a killing spree.
He popped the regen. It wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, that is why you have these power plays with the assassin picks, and why Nolan. It's crazy that it's such a good performance in this series because teams have struggled to make it work, and now Turtle for the taking. I don't think NIP Flash can do anything about it, and they're going to be zoned out, of course, from even showing up from this. Information was just given by Diablo, but with that, you know, nothing too crazy in terms of lead. Oh, Implosion.
Straight into the shove, back into the Feather Airstrike, and Hades will be able to take a kill there. He also has a Sky Piercer, so the stacks now racking up, but we can see this replay again. Ooh, that Lethal Ignition.
Tries, yeah. It tries as best as you can. You're not going to be able to escape that burst, especially early on. And all Chibi has is a Hunter Strike. You know, that's all that's online right now. Of course, the Sky Piercer was locked in early on for Hades. Hasn't even finished the level 2 boots yet. We'll go ahead and continue on building up that Hayabusa. But Zorn,
this time with the JPO, the way of the Dragon, straight into the damage. Dawning Light to catch him from outer range now. A chase down on the curtains. He opens the Feathered Airstrike. Oh! A good juke from Hades, but he gets caught in the Mystic Field. Actually is able to walk away. Good dodge from the Daytona's Welcome.
yeah, good way to escape that. But again, if you're NIP Flash, how do you play around the fact that, yes, you can use Hades to find those pickoffs yourself, but you're playing sort of the tune to HomeBois right now, I would say this early on, because of the Cho, like they talked about on the panelist segment. You know, he's just in a situation now where some people are like, man, the changes that happened for the Cho pick might affect him too negatively, but so far throughout the MSC, he's been doing really great.
He has been, man. I think all the Chos really have been popping off in MSC, but JPO seems like he's planning for something. Sapat does have the Daytona's Welcome, and that's why also, this is another reason why I like the Barats, right? Because you're good at catching people, you're good at setting up for ganks, but also you're really good at disengaging too. Whenever someone wants to go in, whether it be Diablo, JPL, pop the Daytona's Welcome. You get the anti-CC, you deny the enemy team of a pick.
Yeah, pretty strong utility that it brings to the composition. And that's why, you know, we just haven't seen it too often, and that's why I like to see teams like this play HomeBois and NIP Flash, where they bring this dynamic to their compositions, and they make it work so far. Next Turtle up for the taking, though. It's just going to be started up by HomeBois so quickly. I don't think NIP Flash can do anything. That's just deleted off the map so fast. And this is really the tempo that we've been talking about all up to this point now on day 2 of the knockouts, man, is the tempo that's set up by the teams here. It really just depends on who gets that going first. Again, Implosion.
Good shove into the Implosion, but Net's able to purify out of it. Feather Airstrike dealing with him. Zorn going to be taken down as JPO gets traded in, but now Hades back and forth with the Quad Shadow. Udil doing so much damage, so much poke. Onto the back to Dawning Light too. They're all so low, but the missiles doesn't find its mark. Unable to bring anyone back, but HomeBois are happy just with the poke alone. They got a tier 1.
Just with the poke, and that was also a Wishing Lantern now picked up. And, you know, this works so well with the Xavier. I think this is why a lot of people like to go ahead pick Xavier, is the fact that Wishing Lantern, it's so easy to proc that. Oh.
Shadow kill onto the assassin. Good move by Chibi. Bringing him into the minion wave. Zorn, Way the Dragon, bringing Diablo back into the Mystic Field. 2 members caught under the Mystic Field. Diablo panicking, popped in. I'm offended, now flickering out. Zorn looking for the chase down to flicker forward at the Jikundo to knock him out in the back as Curtizi gets caught. Wishing Lantern and the big chomp. Trex would say nom 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 as he continues stomping on the ground on Hades and JPL, forcing an implosion. Fanix caught in the Mystic Field. They can't go for any trades. And Zorn ends it all with the TP! Udil from downtown finding a dawning light.
HomeBois in the Xavier again. Talk about the threat. Okay. GB goes in.
Desperate Shadow kills Zorn. Finds the way to Dragon, times it well, gets brought back into the Feather Airstrike, but it doesn't matter. Not to the TP King.
All right. That's a whole lot that has just happened. If we have an STC replay, I don't know what they're going to replay because
The whole 8 minutes.
The whole past few minutes here. And, you know, now you're at a point where you're almost 9 minutes in. Lord's now up. And so far, it's been difficult. So let's look at STC replay here. Boom. Okay, we get this. Zorn goes in. Talk about setup potential. So that's one dawning light. And in just a few seconds, you'll most likely see another. We still have this in the replay. But again, a great try to set this up. Implosion as well. And just when you think you're to the safety of your base.
Nah.
Oh.
Mystic Field, 3 members. Chibi now with the Fracture Implosion catching him. Zaman Force Nets able to dish out some damage. Now Zorn is able to find a way to drag into the Hades, but it's not enough damage just yet. 2 members taken down. Now the Shadow kill into the Dawning Light. Everybody low, the Wishing Lantern getting rid of him, but Udil takes Hades out, making it a 3 for 3. Udil scouting every single bush he can. And so far, it's just going to be an equal trade.
Equal trade, I don't know, man. I know yesterday when we ended the day yesterday, as we take a look at the replay here, we were like, that's the best series we've seen so far. But I got to say, as we go into this game 3, this has been a back and forth between HomeBois and NIP Flash, just like we see from this replay. And why, again, the fact that Xavier is picked up now a lot, it's prioritized in a way where Udil just gets to go ahead and do this time and time again. He's just got the Wishing Lantern and the Enchanted Talisman. That's it. And there's not enough defense just yet for NIP to Flash to deal with this, so we might just have to watch this Lord get taken.
Zorn, Jikundo, Detsunus welcome on towards JPL, forcing him out of the skirmish. 3-man, I'm offended, but into the Way to Dragon. Now JPL looking for the angle to go for the implosion. Unable to go for it, but Vanix takes the kill away. That's spot traded in, but it's a Lord for HomeBois.
Yeah, again, I guess the big value, as we just saw with the Barrett's pick, is you're kind of a wall. Like, who's going to go past the big dinosaur, especially when your enemy jungler is trying to get in position? Look at the damage dealt already. For Udil, this is what we're talking about with the Xavier pick and the Wishing Lantern. But now NIP Flash will go ahead and find themselves on this defense. They should be able to clear this Lord okay. They're holding it together, but they are going to lose this tier 2 on the top. Not sure if HomeBois will be able to get much more, as they still have to kind of push that. Lord is now taken care of. BOD gets picked up by Hades. So NIP Flash still in a good position to actually turn things around here.
A really good position for HomeBois, I would say. I don't know about the turnaround because, sure, they do have ways to actually win this out, but again, it almost seems like for HomeBois, they are the ones that needed to go just equal. They just needed to match the pace of NIP Flash. As long as they didn't fall behind in the early game, they would have the late game because of the Xavier. And now that they've been able to dominate in the early game, getting into the mid game with all these power spikes hitting together, it just seems so tough for NIP Flash to look for a comeback. Yeah, I think it has to come through a big combo, but even then, you're going to have to bait some of these Purifies out first before you can go for those combos, right? JPL, these implosions, not easy to find with those Purifies. Hades, up top. Zorn's looking for a flickers forward way to try and lock him down straight into Chibi's Fracture. Well played to Zorn. He knew not to give Hades a chance to outplay. Just flickered forward, kicked him in the face.
I guess it's just like Hades, like, I got to push where I can. I got to try to get something for the team here because, yeah, if they want to turn things around, it almost comes at the cost of HomeBois making a huge mistake, making a blunder at this point. Because if you're looking at it, Nets is 3-0-4. Udil has not died either. So those are the 2 main sources of these the burst damage that can come through. And then, of course, you have Chibi on the Nolan. But 2 Purifies you got to work through from HomeBois here. So for NIP Flash, I'm looking at how can they lock this in? How can they hopefully claw back into the game? And that might be part of it. Vanix does get a malefic roar. He's got a good damage. But honestly, it's just, I feel like it's more so Diablo and JPL's job. They have to be able to somehow, it's probably going to come to a base defense, you know, where they're at the base defense. Next Lord's eventually going to get taken here by HomeBois, and we're going to just kind of predict the future a little bit here. NIP Flash will have to go in for a defense. It'll be up to JPL to get a great implosion off. They might try to get into the zone here with a conceal play or something, but ultimately, I just feel like the firepower just isn't there yet for NIP Flash. And it might be better off if they're trying to do this from a defense stance in the base.
For NIP, it's really all about slowing the game down. But even then, if you slow the game down, these dawning lights will come crashing down on you. Hades still has the regen, so he's able to deal with that burst. But remember, as we close into the later stage of the game, Udil's just going to have an 11-second cooldown on this dawning light. He learned the hard way in the match against Liquid Echo that, you know, you can really abuse the Xavier come the 13th minute, come your item power spikes.
Yeah, I feel like it's very close to that, as you can already see.
Forced to go in with I'm Offended on the spot, able to find a dancer's welcome, but he gets bursted down with the feather airstrike. There's Vanix, gets caught alone inside of the Zaman Force.
Oh, Zorn. Zorn's on the hunt here. He already used the conceal. I'm not sure if they were able to actually see him there. Okay, they know. They've got eyes on him. But they're down at Vanix.
Oh, he
Light
baited
gonna be dropped again. Yeah, get the flicker out. Zorn's still holding on to his and the way of the dragon here. They might be trying to force something from NIP Flash, force a response.
There you go. That's the I'm Offended catching Zorn. Still with the Shumpo, still has the way the dragon finds it on Cortese, but he's able to purify out to safety. JPL, no flicker to play with. Chibi going to be able to lock him down. Diablo, whoa! Gets his HP bar absolutely deleted. The shadow kill from Hades as he's able to get out as well. But the dawning light there almost caught him. It still will be HomeBois with a way better trade there. It's 2 for 1, only losing Zorn now with the Enhanced Lord.
Yep, big trades there in favor of HomeBois. Winter Crown also being picked up here by Sapat. You can get ready for a forced initiation. He's pretty much nearly fully tanked up now that Winter's Crown is available to him. And really his only job is just to go in, get a Daytona's welcome off if he has to. But they should be full force for NIP Flash on this defense. They'll try to hold on to what they can. Base turrets all still available. Of course, no shields to work with. Dawning Light is going to be on a very low cooldown. Lord charges in. A couple hits away here. NIP Flash will have to have a defense of a lifetime against this power spike already showing from HomeBois. Lord Steel, Dawning Light once again, just keeping them at the base nearly. They're waiting for that next wave to push in here. Bottom isn't there just yet.
Zorn
though.
The conceal together with Chibi. JPL going to be caught on the smart missiles. Wait, the dragon to bring him back into the fracture, and implosion catches the Nolan, and now the shove back. Chibi going to be taken down as well as Zorn. Hades still able to escape. Vanix very low. One Dawning Light might be able to snipe them down, but it's not up just yet. HomeBois though, they were able to find a base turret. Cortese, you know he's thinking about it. He's thinking about when the Dawning Light will come in, when he'll have the sidestep, but it's not up just yet. Udil cannot utilize it.
Oh, hold on. Nets is here. He's going to fight Diablo.
He has the Zaman Force, and he forces Diablo out, but I think the bait has already been done by NIP Flash, bringing Nets all the way there. Hades going to be very low, forced to go out with a quad shadow. That's a pull back with the I'm Offended that did not connect, but they don't even need it to connect. Vanix deals enough damage. As long as the Herod doesn't have Zaman Force, it's an easy kill.
Yeah, that's at the point, you know, when you're on this side for Nets, you just type takes 5. You know, at that point, because, yeah, I don't know. The way I look at it for NIP Flash, that was a pretty good defense given how far behind they were.
Good.
You know, they managed to hold on to the one turret in the bottom side. They punished HomeBois for that forced initiation, and it's bought themselves enough time because really when you're looking at it, now that they're locking in, you know, 3rd, 4th items here, and even for Hades, he's fully locked in. They just got to get some turrets, man. That finally the tier 2 on the top goes down. This one in the mid lane should go down shortly as they push this wave in. They're going to pull him.
Winter Crown by Sapat, caught on the bad spot. JPL able to shove him back. Zorn looking for the flank. Hades do the same onto Udil. Great assassination from Hades. As now HomeBois are on the back foot. 2 members taken out by the crazy angles of NIP Flash. Now Hades again with the quad shadow, but this time just trying to zone Chibi away from the jungle.
Don't tell me HomeBois is going to let this slip through their fingers. Again, they were so far ahead just minutes ago. And now that we're reaching this point, 17 minutes in, Lord's going to come up here. They're down 2 members for another 10 seconds. Chibi might try to get the information he needs, might try to pull something, a miracle off. But I think they can only just watch. Oh.
Shadow kill! Hades with a solo kill! The assassin assassinates the assassin! NIP Flash are truly ninjas in pajamas here as they continue on towards the Lord. 70 minutes, Dawning Light! If Hades used the Retribution earlier, that would have been crazy. The Wishing Lantern almost forcing Hades to go for some crazy maneuvers there, but he's able to survive, able to retry, and now we have the game fully turned around.
Oh, I'm not going to say it, but earlier I was like, let's predict the future, you know? NIP Flash was able to defend successfully their base, and now they've turned things in their favor. They have a Lord on the top side marching in. It's relatively pretty much even in terms of economy. And for NIP Flash right now, they are just outplaying and outmaneuvering HomeBois here. So fully locked in for Hades. Divine Glaive finally gets picked up by Udil. He's going to need that for these Dawning Lights to clear some of these waves and help with this defense right now. Hades could possibly put enough pressure himself alone into the base even before they push into these turrets. Conceal going to be used. Chibi wants revenge. I don't think he's going to find it. Zorn will go ahead and force them out. Vanix is also half health. He's got to back off. Picks up a Haas Claws to heal back up. They're all waiting. They're managing these waves to push them in at the same time. Lord will now make its way top and get the charge in. HomeBois on the defense here.
Gonna be slain in the backside there. Meanwhile, Hades in the bottom lane still going for the trade, able to get the base turret. So far, still worth it for NIP Flash as they're still looking for the Nolan. They can't find him, but they got 2 base turrets just based on that crazy play.
It's even. 1 turret each.
What do you think? I mean, like, HomeBois, they got a kill, but they lost 2 base turrets. That, you know, proactiveness was on HomeBois, and the capitalization was on NIP Flash.
Man, I don't know. I feel like this whole series, I've been on the edge of my seat for this one because it's always these assassin picks too. I know they've traded this time around. You know, we have this just a back and forth between the both teams, and now we get into the territory, Mirko, where it's like, all right, we've got some immortalities. We're going to have some more winter crowns. We might even see the juggling of those items start to happen here as we get to this point. Trex asked for it, man. He wanted a longer game. Well, Trex, have they delivered? Because now we are nearing the 20-minute mark. That next Lord is up in about 40 seconds, so that will be the crucial one. As we've seen for a lot of these games in there, you'll see it. Curtisy now picking up the Winter's Crown himself. Sapat also has it. And, I mean, there's multiple. There's 4 locked in, 2 for both teams right now. So more defensive items being picked up, too. And that's the thing, man. They're always going to have to deal with these 10-second Dawning Lights from HomeBois.
If he's at full stacks, I believe it's 11 seconds, right? So if he's not at full stacks, I think it will be a bit longer. We'll see how HomeBois utilize this because the last few minutes, it does feel like, especially after NIP Flash, you know, got those base turrets down, Udil's been a bit more safe when it comes down to using the Dawning Light because one thing that the Dawning Light does is, all right, obviously deal damage. The other thing is it reveals where you are technically.
Yeah.
So for Hades, he's been able to utilize that to scout wherever Udil is. When you spam those Dawning Lights, it gives Hades information, and we saw that one time that Hades was able to get that. It was Udil slain. Nothing you could do about it. Now he does have a winter crown, so he should be able to say something about it, but still not much if no one is there to follow him up or to help him.
Yeah, he can buy a little more time with it, basically, that Winter's Crown. That's really where that's going to come. But look at the placing here by HomeBois. They might just be looking for a possibility to get the numbers advantage. And that's something that both teams have to worry about, honestly, as they go ahead. Neither team wants to commit to the Lord because of just what's possible. Conceal going to be used.
Wait, the Dragon 2, Chibi able to steal it away. Now Zorn all the way in the front. Caught Lycan pounce though from Vanix. Sapat trying to go for the pickoff, but able to do so. Now JPL pops it in implosion. That's good. That's welcome to lock him down. Diablo going to be taken down as Chibi locks him. Double kill for HomeBois. 2 members down for NIP Flash.
When I'm looking at that, I feel like, oh, hold on. Hades might put enough pressure. They know the Lord hurts. They could possibly stall this out a little bit longer, but they're also at a huge risk here if they go for it. I think they're going to be too late.
Way too late. Oh, Mystic Field catching Vanix. Zorn with the chase number. The Dawning Light will be the last resource that HomeBois spend here around the Lord. It's an evolved Lord in the 22nd minute of the game. They have 2 base turrets down, but they'll be able to actually manage the 3-lane push into NIP Flash's base.
Now this is where the difficult decision comes. Do we do a full force defense? Do we possibly go for a side push? Can we actually put pressure utilizing the Hades on this Hayabusa, or do we get ready for a full 5-man defense because of what's coming here? This Lord is going to take some time to deal with as they hold on to that bottom base turret. But this is one beefy Lord as it approaches the base. They got to watch out for Zorn as well.
Only
multiple immortalities. Zorn going to go in on the front side.
Look at Vanix losing almost all of his HP. Diablo with the I'm offended, unable to catch it. Zorn with the win, the Dragon Gawkin. Hades down. That's still dealing some damage. Chibi getting rid of Vanix now with a double kill. Looking for more. It is going to be HomeBois winning out in the skirmish despite Hades locking a few of their members down. The base is wide open. Sipot flickers back to stomp on it as they secure match point.
Again, a great game of back and forth between HomeBois and NIP Flash, but HomeBois will ultimately come out on top of it. And man, I hope we continue to see these Battle of the Assassins because man, is it exciting. It was a great attempt at a defense throughout the game, but ultimately by that time, past that 20-minute mark, man, it was be tough to be able to withstand that. And also with Kurt Teasy being taken out in an instant, like 1 or 2 seconds, he was blown up. Zorn shows again this choke pick, the strength of it. And just the lineup that we got to see here really utilized from HomeBois to answer what NIP Flash had. I don't know, man. Ultimately, I almost thought it would have gone either way for this one.
Definitely. I mean, the fact that NIP Flash had such a massive advantage in towards the later stage of the game, I thought they got it.
Well, let's see what the panelists have to say about this one because it was an exciting one. Boys, take it away.
It's definitely exciting because we got to talk about this. 11th of July is the date where we see the assassin matchups between Chibi as well as Hades. Both incredible junglers being extremely impactful in every single game that they're in.
Definitely, the showdown that we're seeing right now is long time coming, I would say. And not only that, everybody was also stepping up. I think Zorn versus JPL is gonna come through. Unfortunately, in game number 3, Zorn proves to be the better roamer this time. Looking for good angles and initiating for his team in a very good manner.
I would say this is now about man-to-man. Like, Chibi wants to take down Hades, Kurtizi wants to take down Udil, and JPL wants to take down Zorn. Like, now we're seeing man-to-man defense for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, definitely back and forth, but NIP Flash, hang on. They almost take this game completely, but it is definitely getting personal. And personally, I would love to see this go to a full game 5, but at this point, it is match point for the HomeBois. And you can hear them in the crowd right now. They got some support out there.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And let's talk about this game as well, where honestly HomeBois made such a crucial mistake. The NIP Flash could have possibly won this game off of that, I would even say, choke.
Definitely. And I think if you're looking at how HomeBois approach it, it's almost like a box, but it's not an actual box because, again, this is Assassins. But they're utilizing Sepat in this case as well as Sword to kind of initiate for that one. They're delivering everything to Nets. And then eventually just Chibi, you know, Chibi, do what you wanted to do. It's like they're unleashing Chibi at the same time they performing a mini box where they only have 4 people there.
Can I say as well, historically, this is amazing because for Singapore and Malaysia, we used to be one region. It used to be MPL, MYSG. Now that we've broken up, we're actually starting to see how equal both teams really are going up against each other. And I don't know, personally for me, this is an exciting matchup. This is, like we talked about yesterday as being one of the best matches that we saw in the knockout stage, in MSC in general. This is starting to make a case for itself.
I think right now, Chibi, one of the questions we had last time was Hayabusa or the Noland. I think right now it just feels like Chibi.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
Just
chibi,
chibi,
man. And
yeah.
even towards the end game, at first he was kind of coming in straight on, and he knew he had to adapt, and we saw him adapt. He started coming from those angles. He started to be more patient in the bushes, able to find Curtizi, able to keep Curtizi kind of at bay, because after it was, I think, one of the last Lord pushes, Curtizi gets caught off, taken out, and from there you could tell he was a bit more passive in the way he wanted to move around the map.
Yeah. As Miracle would say, chibbity skibbity slaps.
Can I just say as well, the reactions coming in from Chibi, this is very different. Usually he would be very loud, I would say. But honestly, looking at the reactions in the game, he looks pretty chill.
Yeah.
When I say chill, I think the better word for it is that he's hyper focused. Like he's taking this game super seriously. That he's not playing around. It's not like yo, baliwe, nothing like that.
It's 200K on the line, man.
200K
200K
USD.
USD on the line. So you gotta stay really laser focused.
After getting that 200K, do what you want.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to write on what Trek said just now. Like, we're looking at the jungler matchup here. Looks like the heroes, I feel like, has big impact. We did see Hades win a 1v1 going up against Chibi.
Yeah.
But again, looking at both junglers, Chibi is winning for now. And now we got to look at our Sony MVP of this game. It looks like the MVP is going to show here. It's going to be Udil dealing the most amount of damage just now.
Interesting.
Over 100k damage, if I'm not mistaken.
There was a time where they were actually winning because Udil was just sniping everyone with the Dawning Light, and not only that, the pokes that he was able to get. And every time that Hades wants to come in, obviously there were times that Hades eventually gets the kill, but in the early stages, mid stages, and the latter portions, you can see his skill 1 and 2 combo wherein you actually get the stun with the Mystic Field. That is actually a threat on the assassins, and this is where he gets the snipe all the way.
Oh, this one. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, like you would think you're safe, walking, Vanix running, and then in comes the snipe.
Bam.
You're never safe from Toby Rama.
Never safe from Toby Rama. He always gets you.
That's right.
I mean, his contact rate on that too is just insane. From all the way across the map. I know it's a quick skill, but still to continuously hit those back to back to back. There's just some game sense in that.
Something about HomeBois, man. This time they're, oh my goodness, 24 KDA.
Wow.
24 KDA.
Super Marco.
Yo.
Yo.
96% kill participation. Yo, Udo, you know what? We're talking about the last spicy Kage. Toby Rama,
Toby Rama.
Toby Rama Udil.
Toby Rama Udil.
The new moniker.
Oh, man. Toby Rama Udil is just... yeah, like I said, he's a bully, I would say. Even in the laning stage, even outside
everywhere, honestly. And to be fair, it's been an amazing match. But for now, we're going for a short break. After this, we're going to be seeing the continuation of this match. So we'll see you guys then.
former pro player and also champion of MSC back in 2019, now here again for 2024. We are joined by Anti-Mage. How you doing?
I'm good.
Well, Anti-Mage, right behind us, we have two teams battling it out, HomeBois and NIP Flash. What would you say is different between these two teams?
I think HomeBois plays is normal and play aggressive, but NIP have like cheese strat. A lot of cheese strat because they pick Martis in mid and they pick Minsitar for offlane. Very unique for me.
So, between these two teams, you got to be voting for one. Which one do you think will win?
Of course, HomeBois because I have my ex-teammate Udil in there.
Udil, definitely supporting him. Now, any words of advice to those out in the audience watching, supporting from Indonesia?
Don't be sad because Indonesia team doesn't qualify to playoff, but we will be champion in the M6.
Ooh, M6. I know Kyrie's listening to that one. Well, you hear the crowd going wild. We're going to sit back and enjoy the show. Thank you so much for your time, Anti-Mage. And shout out to Onyx and shout out to Indonesia as well.
Shout outs to Weezy as well as Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage still going for the campaign. M6, you know what? Just wait for that one. Indonesia will perform. But with that being said, we're about to jump into the draft between NIP Flash going up against HomeBois. HomeBois right now is match point. And if HomeBois wins the next one, not only are they going up to the semifinals, not only is it going to be Malaysia going up against Malaysia, but also, Anti-Mage is correct. He says it's going to be a 3-1. Right?
That's true.
And Oakland also gets 3-1 at first.
Oh yeah. Something about players. You know, maybe they should be
Maybe they should
analysts.
be casters.
Maybe they should host.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be players.
Yeah, you know what?
We should be players.
That's where we draw the line. Okay. And now we're jumping into the draft here. NIP Flash is going to be blue side, first pick. HomeBois red side, second pick. So looking at the bans, probably not going to be a lot of change here.
Yeah.
Angela getting banned out. HomeBois probably having to ban the Moskov, the Louis, as well as the Chip. NIP Flash, they're banned. Will they ban out the Ling? Like, will they try to get the Ling for themselves?
Probably. I think at this point, Ling is the red side designated ban. And
Yeah, but the Moskov, I mean, like, again, HomeBois, Moskov, Louis, Chip, you don't have any way around it, right? So the Chip, they banned the Ling still.
I think they banned out the Ling in game number 1.
Yes, they did.
Because I think they don't want to be forced to go for a bad trade. One of the problems being on blue side, if you leave the Ling open, a lot of time red side will like leave the Louis open with it, leave the Roger and something else, like the Valentina Roger or something. So it's tough to get that Ling on blue side, honestly.
okay.
For free, at least.
Is this Harith again? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
So you
Is
go
this
what?
the
Roger Ruby?
The Ruby, baby.
Roger, there we go.
Or
Well,
Hayabusa.
Oh,
Show. You know, I like it since he already showed that he doesn't care about Ruby. He's like, I'll kick anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone in the face.
Yeah.
Kick anyone at any body part.
Anywhere.
So Martis Grok is gonna be the choice.
Ooh.
I like
The
I-
Martis again?
I actually like NIP Flash's draft. It's like, you know what? We've won one game. And what do we use? Martis.
Martis.
What are we going to use?
Martis.
There you go. With the Grok as well. So there's a lot of damage in mid here. Zorn has to be careful. Trading against Zorn in the Martis early game is going to hurt.
I have a good suggestion here for Udil. I hope he picks up the Lilia. But maybe not in this slot. Maybe 4th slot or 5th slot.
Yeah, because most likely Lilia won't get banned out. But here's the thing.
Oh,
Oh,
Xavier.
Xavier.
You know what? It works.
He stays away. He stays far, far away from the Martis
This
and the
is
Grok.
Toby
so.
Rama, okay?
Yep.
Let him do his thing.
And you get the Mystic Field stun. It still kind of gives you some viability against if it ends up being that mid lane Martis again.
Yeah.
Can slow him down. It can stop the Grok and the Martis in their tracks on those heavy engages. So I think it's a really strong pick from Udil here.
What if NIP Flash and HomeBois just ban out all the assassins? Like a Nolan for NIP Flash.
I wonder if HomeBois, they're banning out the assassins because they want this Roger onto Chibi and then pick up a Claude for Nets.
That's right. That's, or Beatrix, in fact.
Or Beatrix. But again, Nets loves the
Beatrix
Claude.
Xavier, that's a lot of long range damage.
Or they want to try to force the Martis into the jungle.
Oh,
Leave
yeah.
them nothing left for the jungle. So Martis is kind of forced to not be a mid laner here.
I don't know what the ban is.
Honestly, I feel like HomeBois, if they
Sitar.
have to ban anyone, I almost It's between Nolan or Julian, because I feel like Julian is very dangerous as well.
Yeah, that's what we saw last time.
Exactly, that's what won them the game.
No. It was Martis Xavier. Not Martis Julian. I mean.
Martis Julian.
So it could be a, yeah, could well be a Julian, man.
I think that's the right route to go, really.
But
Take
then,
out Julian.
if you don't ban an assassin, if you're NIP Flash, then you're going to be left with, especially if this is a Julian ban, what happens is if you don't ban the Nolan, HomeBois will just take it, and then all of a sudden you don't have a...
True.
You don't have an assassin to kind of match up with that.
Then you're forced to maybe even go utility or go diving real deep, picking up the Leomord, picking up the Bane, picking up these fighters in the jungle.
Or just put the Martis in jungle. I mean, that's... I know it's a little crazy, but, you know, that could always be...
No.
We don't
No
know
tracks.
here.
Yeah, you just... My bad, sorry.
No.
That wouldn't make sense.
Martis is in the mid. Get this in your brain, okay? Martis makes most sense in the mid.
MM.
Martis mid.
Martis mid.
Yes, there you go. Now you understand.
And that's the guy that's...
Now you can go and cast in MPLSG. There you go.
Okay.
Looks like NIP Flash. They bet on the Midstar and the Barats.
They pick up the Ruby, they take it away. I believe that Terizla should be the pick here for NIP Flash. Or do we want a spicy Diablo pick, like a...
By the way, just say HomeBois, they did battle the Nolan.
Oh, so it's Benedetta and the Gwyn.
And Baby Gwyn.
All right, Benedetta and Gwyn. So again, Martis mid. Just saying.
So Ruby, so they're looking for a marksman. Or maybe
jungler, because again, the Roger could be marksman.
Yeah. Could they pick up something like the Claude here still?
I saw Coach Pups asking for help there, so something might be going on. But either ways, one more pick for the side of HomeBois. And again, that drive is pretty flexible, because even Ruby technically could go to the gold lane. So anything could happen with their draft at this point.
like a Kufra, you know, for Zorn. Let's pick Kufra.
How do we feel about that Guinevere? So Guinevere jungle most likely, Martis mid. We did see Hades play the Gwynny in group stage.
Claude. Okay.
The Claude, yeah. So looking at the composition from HomeBois, they do have the pre-linear movement where early to mid to late, like there's a very clear condition of how they want to play for this one. But again, this time Diablo is on that damage dealing Benedetta. We'll see if that makes an impact. But that being said, the draft has been completed by both teams. And with that, I hope the casters are ready, because we're throwing it over to you guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. Oh, we're ready. And this one definitely looks like they want to unleash a Diablo. Great to see the Benedetta come to play here. But yeah, again, it's me and Nice2 joined here on desk with Mirko as we bring you possibly the last game, unless some way, somehow this lineup can bring it to a game number 5 ahead of us. As with everything on the line here, both for NIP Flash and HomeBois, their keys, the chance to be one of the top 4 teams to round out MSC. We jump into the Land of Dawn once again. Game number 4 here for NIP Flash. We're going to have to look. I still think, you know, a lot of people are probably, okay, we like the Martis in mid after what we saw before.
I think a lot of people will be happy with the Xavier mid too, but Curtizi already pushing the pace in the early parts of the game. JPL going to be very low though. Udo spamming out the skill ones, the reds. Now the Mystic Field, Kurt with a flicker forward straight into the Mortal Coil, but he's unable to get any of the executes. Decimate is level 4, but Diablo, the Devil now trying to go onto Udo with the Eye for 9 to petrify Diablo. The lethal ignition to take Zorn down too. The Singaporean Devil strikes, but now Chibi goes with Lycan Pounce. Diablo still able to escape with the Mortal Coil from Curtizi. NIP Flash with an extreme advantage all the way in the first minute.
Hey man, Udil didn't like his name.
No.
You saw it in the video. He asked him, what kind of name is Diablo? Well, would have moved there under the turret, already on a bit that he came all the way and rotated there to go and get that double. Great communication from NIP Flash.
Devilish moves from Diablo. That was Really, really good. And, you know, the analysts already spoke about it. Now Kurt going to be caught in the Mystic Field. Chibi won't go for the overcommitment here under the turret. But
what they
back
talk
again,
about?
Analyst panel, they were saying Diablo is on a pick, on a damage dealer. Expect Diablo to do Diablo things. And we got Diablo doing Diablo things in the first minute of the game.
First minute of the game, gets that double kill. You know, he's also rolling with the Lethal Ignition emblem. So there's a lot of surprise pressure, I feel like, because honestly, we've, like, for the XP lane especially, it's been pretty standard. Oh, already, look at this.
Clean eye for an eye to get out of the dome round. Wolf King Supa won't be able to participate in the skirmish now, and Zorn, we force back, it seems. There's no way they can go for this final slash to petrify. There, Chibi gonna be locked down, still able to escape with the Lycan pounds as Zorn gets caught. Decimate one last hit, and he slashes him to bits. Chibi gonna be caught again. Hades finding the projectile eye for an eye from Diablo. He's mad about the name call, and Udil will be able to escape, getting the Mystic Field. Sapat now running away. Diablo still trying to run. That final hit from Sapat gets him down, as Hades will have to respect Sapat here. Together with Udil, he won't be able to steal it away, but JPL does force it on
Sapat? Yeah, Sapat got it. So at least it goes to HomeBois, but yeah, after everything we just said about Diablo, and then he goes, and it looked so close. It looked like he should have been able to get that kill on Udil, and maybe, yeah, you know, he's like, hey, here's the reason why I am Diablo, but ends up getting punished instead. So at least puts it HomeBois on the board, but ultimately, NIP Flash has gotten themselves a pretty big lead this early on, 3 minutes into the game. And so they'll find themselves playing around the momentum they built themselves. And this is one of the things, even with the Guinevere, we haven't talked too much about Hades on this Guinevere, the amount of CC that this hero brings to the table with everything else, I mean, even for JPL, is already enough to deal with a lot of what HomeBois wants to throw at them. So, you know, that's where, again, you kind of have to rely on, Zorn. Oh, and he's going to be chased.
Good Violent Requiem straight into the wild charge and the Decimate from Kurt TZ.
That's almost like the perfect alley-oop.
It is.
Right into the Decimate. Look at this top.
Oh, Flicker Decimate from Curtizi there. And the rest of the team will be able to help him with the Mortal Coil to grab him a killing spree. 3-0-1 Hades with a Thunderbelt. And it seems there are no trades available for HomeBois because of just how oppressive Diablo is on the Benedetta. Cutting in the bottom lane, now using Final Slash, or Final Blow rather, to get out now. He's gonna have to time the eye for an eye perfectly. Dashes again, Petrify. GB looking for the pounce, but the eye for an eye to outplay Diablo in the bottom lane. Outplaying Chibi, forcing him on 0-2 on top. Violent Requiem straight into the alley-oop. That's the Decimate. Curtizi able to escape with the Mortal Coil. Perfect timing for the turtle.
Talk about timing. They're also just going to force Zorn out of here. But man, great team fights and just like these little skirmishes happening across the map. Diablo, though, again with this Benedetta. I'm surprised we haven't seen it on him, you know, even earlier in this series, but it's great that they pull it out for this game because as we look at their STC replay, boom. I mean, nearly shattering the replay as well. Great setups that are coming through here, and really, Curtizi before this, I believe, just picked up the Sky Pierce. You can see how good they're feeling about that over in the camp there. And again, you know, it goes back to it. The Decimate Sky Piercer is going to be deadly for HomeBois to deal with. Udil at this point is now picking up his Enchanted Talisman, and this is where we start to see, you know, a little bit more of those spamming of these abilities from the Xavier once you get that available. And they'll go ahead and just kind of try to slow things down a little bit. I'm offended going to be used.
With the way the Dragon, but it kicks him all the way to the other side. Good Mystic Field, though, as a Violent Requiem will be used up. Hades able to escape Zorn with the Flicker Fold. Hades! The outplays continue for NIP Flash, even dodging away from the dawning light as Vanix gets rid of Chibi on the other side, forcing Blazing Duet from Nets, who's unable to really lock anyone down. NIP Flash are absolutely styling on HomeBois.
I thought these guys are absolute ninjas. They're ninjas in pajamas. Look at the replay here. Hades, how does he survive this in Zorn and punishes?
And then he did sidestep. He just took it.
He just took it and still survived. Oh, again. Man, NIP Flash. They're playing this game with their hearts and everything else on their sleeves.
Petrify instead of the final blow straight into the Requiem. Supply gonna be very low. Diablo one last slash to take him down. 11-1 now. NIP.
Cool. This is just a. I don't think you could ask for a better start for NIP to transition to this point of the game. They still have third turtle to go through, And they're well on their way to just going ahead and sweeping the Turtles for now, 3 for 3. Putting some pressure there. Once again, going to go ahead and chase Diablo. Should be fine. Again, Benedetta very hard to catch, especially with the eye for an eye and the Electro Final Blow. And now they'll go ahead and just hold it down. Dawning Light going to be used, but that's going to be the objective. Turtle secured here by Hades and the turret. And Vanix will just push Nets back.
Wild charge into the spatial migration and the Requiem into the Decimate. The alley-oop skibbity Decimate.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, right? You're just watching it happen in real time, especially with the Guinevere pick. This is a lineup, again, that a lot of teams throughout here for the Midseason Cup have not been willing to bring to the table. It takes a team very special like NIP Flash to make this work so well. And they're going to go ahead and continue to play with the fact that they've gotten themselves nearly a 8,000 gold lead. Dawning Light already going to be used. And they get that turret, that tier 1 already. Zorn. Oh, what's he going to do here?
Vanix has the Purify, doesn't even need to do it now. Oh my god, again, the Requiem into the Decimate. It does half of Nets' HP. And Diablo gets spotted out. He does have the eye for an eye, will be able to escape. Sapat unable to go for the chase, but every single time, even when HomeBois are actually in range, they have so many anti-CC abilities. They have the Mortal Coil, they have the Power of Nature here for JPL. Look at him, he's just walking up, now into the final blow. Ooh, he's gonna be caught again, Diablo. He's taking that interview answer personal.
They are taking it more than personal. At this point, they're taking everything also on the map from HomeBois. Still 30 seconds away from this next objective, the Lord here. But HomeBois, they can't do anything. They have nothing. No turrets, no turtles. I mean, nothing across the board, aside from the one kill that they got earlier on. And they'll just have to watch the bases and the turrets be destroyed and worked on here. Right now, NIP Flash are massively ahead. 10,000 gold at the 8.5-minute mark is absolutely insane. And they're playing so in sync. As Curtizi picks up the wings and again, still putting the pressure in the mid lane. Chibi.
Oh, that's a good secure from Udo with the orange buff. Chibi almost getting caught, but he's still able to get out. It was just a Petrify and a final blow committed. Now they're on the Lord, and it should just be for free. NIP Flash securing a Lord in the 9th minute with 14 kills to 1 and a 10,000 gold lead.
Man, again, you know, as we've gone through this series, it's like, it's been somewhat close, but there's been a couple games now where it's one-sided like this. And that's a Holy Crystal also picked up. Uh-oh.
Spatial migration into the Violet Requiem, and that's the Decimate that we're always waiting for when they get these combos.
Man, that's not Levi Ackerman, that's Curtizi.
That's Curtizi.
That's Curtizi right now, 7-0-3. Just absolutely massive on this mid. Martez again. They're going to go in.
Spatial migration, eye for an eye from Diablo as he pops in final blow. He doesn't have the Petrify, so no combo just as of yet. It's a 1,000 gold lead, or 10,000. Oh, 11K actually, 1,000 plus 10.
Yeah.
Quick maths.
Quick maths.
NIP Flash, as they continue to try to bait out these holy defenses with the minion pushes that are a bit staggered. Lord up top with another wave coming down as well. JPL, a good barrier to place them in an awkward spot, but there's no real follow-up, and they will not go for anything too crazy. Not just now.
Not just yet. Shields are all going to be popped, I believe, even the bottom one. But, you know, it's HomeBois trying to hold it down together. Another wave going to be pushing in.
There you go. Patience, Diablo. Eye for an eye, missed time, can't take my way to Dragon now into the Lycan, pounds the shutdown, but the Violet Requiem catches them in the back hurt. That's one. He's looking for more. No one's low enough. Kurt forced to flicker out of Chibi. Get very, very low. Hades is even a body block for Vanix as he takes some of those shots. 2 for 1. It's still good for NIP Flash.
It's still good, but again, HomeBois able to just hold that together. If this was a different situation in terms of items, they probably could have gotten a couple more kills off that. But at least for HomeBois, they hold on to both, or actually all base turrets. And, you know, if it wasn't a 10,000 gold difference, if they had some more items locked in, that could have gone way different for them. They have to catch up. I mean, look at the XP lane difference already in terms of gold. Even the mid lane, your Xavier is, what, 2.5-ish thousand gold behind what Curtizi has been snowballing on for the Martiz. And that's where, again, you have to look at this fact. I mean, look at the damage difference. Absolutely massive here. And even with this, even with the fact that he is down in gold, the fact that he can pump out the damage, that's all because of the Dawning Light. You know, you're hitting multiple members. So for NIP Flash, they've done a phenomenal job at getting to this point, but they have to not let this game get to that 18 to 20 minute mark because it can get a little bit spicy, as they like to say on the panelist stand there. Key defensive items also being picked up. Winter's Crown, Athena's Shield also locked in. So they're going to need that because after what they felt from the previous push in the base.
Yeah, it's still going to be very, very hard, by the way, for NIP Flash to actually take this game and, you know, end it. Without the Lord, at least, you know, because HomeBois have a lot of wave clear here with the Xavier, Zorn, and Chibi, though. They're going to be caught a spatial migration into the Requiem. This time, no Decimate. It's just enough damage with the Synchro Vision. Diablo baits a few of those resources, gets out with the final blow. Eye for an eye. Say goodbye to the Lord. It should be free to NIP Flash and HomeBois. They can only just look for the defense at this point.
I'm trying to think, too, as this Lord is just going to get taken. Oh, hold on. Okay, they're just going to force... All right, they're going to force JP out of the jungle there. But, you know, really for all of this, Miracle, like, we haven't been able to see just yet Nets get to that point. Again, this is the thing with the Claude. You know you need a lot of time to build up, to get those 3-4 items locked in, and then you're hoping for a great, massive, blazing duet. And it might just be a little bit, you know, too early for him to be there. He's already, so he's got 3 items, actually. The problem is surviving even that initial burst that is going to come out from NIP Flash. Another Winter's Crown. Oh, they stopped Zorn.
Oh, Zorn gets spotted out. This might be a 4-man fight all the way to the start. Now, final blow by Diablo. Zorn is running circles around him. Good maneuvers actually stopping the siege from happening from NIP Flash, a 5-man siege, but Diablo will be able to catch up on the Zorn, still able to use the G-Kundo. Meanwhile, up top, it's a base turret falling down. Diablo's still on the chase. JPL gets a 3-man wall charge, but none of them use the Purify. Bottom lane, that's finally the solo kill happening. But I think, hey, all things considered, that was good. That was good for Zorn. Maybe not for long, though, as NIP Flash, they still have some of these resources to utilize up against HomeBois. Udo gonna be forced back. Curtizi finding the Decimate straight into the Winter Crown as Chibi will be forced back by Diablo. That's another Decimate used up. It's shut down now by Chibi as he is able to take him down, but it's 1 against 3. Vanix, Hades, and Diablo up against Chibi, who's gonna be locked down, knocked up, and taken out. Equalizer, send us to game number 5.
23-4. What a dominant game here. Exactly when they needed it for NIP Flash to bring it all to a best of 1, basically. 1 game, the deciding factor between the HomeBois and NIP Flash to go forward, to possibly give up their key in the hopes of getting to the grand final here for the mid-season cup at EWC. It's all on the line. It's all going to come down to that last game. But what an amazing series it's been so far. I know you guys over on the panelist stand have a lot to say about it, so let's go ahead and throw it over to them and see what they have to say.
First thing that I have to say, something about Malaysian teams. We like to go all 5 games, but in this one, again, I gotta say, giving Diablo the damage dealer and Martis mid again, it's working out well for NIP Flash.
This is also NIP Flash has taken over the game, taken over the draft now. They have their ideas when they're going up against this composition, and I think that a certain meta developed just between these 2 teams. So far, we have seen Hades with the Assassins, but then come game number 4, at match point for his enemies, he turns up with the Guinevere and is actually unstoppable in this game.
Yeah, I mean, NIP Flash, we're at like round 11 right now. We've been going blow for blow, and right now they've just caught in their 2nd wind here.
Yes, sir.
Bringing it to game 5. And I mean, this composition, you look at it, somebody drafts this, you think this is insane, but NIP Flash is thriving off it. And it almost feels like just the fact that it's catching HomeBois off guard. The aggression is just too much to handle.
Gentlemen, let's talk about the Martis. How do you guys feel about the Martis now?
Said it's a special China for the HomeBois.
It's got 100% win rate.
At this point, what do you do with it? Like, is there a special pick, like a Terizla mid now, to fight against this Martis mid?
Or do you take the China and put it in the cabinet?
Yeah.
You
force
ban
them to, yeah, exactly.
Because, dude, 23-4,
Actually,
it's pretty brutal.
Yep. It is.
Like, I blinked at one moment and it was like 13-1. I'm like, wait, what happened?
Oh. I believe that Diablo happened in this game. And interestingly, the double kill that he was able to get was off of actually Martis coming up from Curtisi. I think it's pretty obvious that HomeBois aren't used to playing against this Martis, especially the flicker Martis, because when you see a Martis, you almost automatically assume that there is a retribution, right? Yep. But then because of the flicker, you kind of overestimate your tankiness, and we saw that Curtisi was able to whittle them down so slowly. Then Diablo collects 2 kills with the lethal ignition. Already, you know that the XP lane is queued towards NIP Flash.
Good news, bad news. Good news, Udil still dealt the most amount of damage. Yep. Bad news, it doesn't really translate to anything.
Yeah, it does, but this is true. That's a fair statement. Did not translate to anything. 4 kills?
Yeah.
4 kills.
I mean, again, like we're talking about how the damage is utilized. Like, you're able to check the bushes, check around the maps just so that you can poke here and there to see where everyone really is, but it doesn't really translate a lot when it comes to the team fights, because we gotta talk about the team fights. The engagement coming in from Hades, engagement coming in from Diablo makes it so that HomeBois never seemed prepared for any kind of battle, because I feel like HomeBois, they're so used to when they have the Cho, they're the one in the driver's seat. So when they're not in that seat in particular, it's like, what do we do now?
I guess the magic of the Martis is that it's a mid laner. I mean, the mid lane Martis, that it's not that susceptible to the Cho or any kind of initiation.
True.
Because if you go back to maybe Farsa, for example, or a Vexana, you're always like threatened to be jumped upon. And Martis, in a way, he kind of wants to be kicked into the.
He wants to be kicked.
He wants to be kicked.
Right,
ladies and gentlemen, you know, you
heard it here first
from our analyst. Martis wants to be kicked.
Yeah, wants to be stumped by Cho.
Okay.
You know?
Let's relax here. Come on, dude.
You know, he's gonna tank the damage. You know.
Well, in the beginning, Martis did do an amazing job. We saw him in the laning phase, able to use Immortal Cores and literally take on 2 members. I mean, just bring them down. And it almost felt like they were winning in the first wave. And then in comes Martis, brings them both down to about 20%. They're both forced to go back practically. We just see the aggression coming from it. And like you said, Cho can't even kick him in the face because Mortal Coils comes and he's just nullified to all CC. Doesn't get knocked up. He just continues to put out damage. Same thing with what we thought the Mystic Field might be good for. He's able to just dance through it.
Yeah, and there were even plays like Flicker, Decimate, which does not actually kill, technically speaking, will not instantly kill, right? But he's already dealing the damage, he's already doing his job. He doesn't need to continuously kill off people because he's got the Sky Piercer anyways, and then he can just get out, allow his teammates to collect the kills eventually. And we saw big reactions coming up from NIP Flash.
Yeah, Lolzy was really feeling it. So now it comes to the question. So far, when it comes to the bans, HomeBois has been banning out the Moskov, the Louis, as well as the Chip. Is this that time where you take that risk and you don't ban a Moskov? And this sounds crazy, but maybe ban out the Martis, or let them pick up the Martis, but don't pick up a Cho. Pick something else, like a Minotaur or something.
Ruby, for example, I think Sepat really plays that well, and it can be flexed in the roam as well as the X-Blade. And Fever, I think the instant stun from the don't run Wolf King, like that, might be okay versus the Martis if you play it correctly.
With that being said, we got to look at our Sony MVP. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be Hades here. Again, showing up with a Guinevere jungle. The engagement coming in from Hades, I feel like the tempo coming in from NIP Flash with this particular pick is incredibly fast, and this is their specialty. We don't see other teams picking up this Guinevere in the jungle.
Yeah. The last team that I saw was Team Liquid Echo, actually, a few days ago. Or was that yesterday? Or was it literally yesterday?
It's all blending together.
It's been a long week for me.
It's been a long week. Yes. You are a little bit tanky. I guess you're tankier than most assassins. You're okay when it comes to your damage, especially if you land those knockups, and you have a innate CC. Then you can also check for your team with face check. You can use your first skill, spatial migration, to check. You can check bushes, and look at that play coming from Hades, holding his ground.
What?
That was when I knew. That was when I knew the game was over.
Yeah,
right there.
All right.
The big thing about it too, though, is normally the Guinevere, what Guinevere suffers from is, mid to late game, she starts to fall off a little bit because she goes in, she tries to get the Violent Requiem, and she just gets shredded down by the enemy team. But when you're 20 kills ahead,
Yep.
you know, they can't do anything to her.
Yep.
And she's just able to continuously dive, and collect a 16 KDA.
As Miracle and Nice would say, they were ahead 1 plus 10.
1,000 gold plus 10.
Yeah, 1 and 6. 1 plus 6.
Yeah.
So,
Look at what
Is
you
it-
did
is
there.
it- is
It's
it
really just, it's like a blue scale of death.
is it just me, or am I getting dumber when I hang out with you guys?
Whoa.
Well,
I feel like
you
my
doing all
IQ
right?
is going down.
I know we're close to HomeBois,
You know-
maybe.
you know what they say, like 10% of 0 is still 0.
A loss is still a loss. It's all perspective, though, as
All about-
Bo would say.
Yeah. All
HomeBois
about
want to win,
attitude.
they can win. But if they want to lose, they can lose.
Yep.
Right. You know what? I need some help
Shut
here. Steph Weezy, could you like find someone to talk to? Maybe General, perhaps? Steph Weezy, the stage is yours.
All the way since the beginning of Mobile Legends Bang Bang, M1 to be exact, top talent, a KOL, and a pro player, Gosu General has touched down in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh for MSC 2024. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How was your flight?
My flight was very comfortable, but the taking Uber to come, the venue was crazy.
What about the weather? Is it hot here to you?
Very, very hot, guys. You can't expect that the weather is super hot.
Speaking of hot and heat, things are heating up for MSC 2024. A new patch just dropped. How do you feel that affects teams?
I think that I really like that the Sky Fiercer coming out, and then it turned to the Assassin meta slowly. Glad to see the Assassins in MSC right now. It was been a long time to taking the tank junglers only, but nowadays Assassin and you things there. I'm so excited to watch the MSC right now.
And that's what I've been excited about. Seeing all the Lings, the Fannies, the Rogers stepping back into the scene is definitely something that we all enjoy. Speaking of enjoying, any words out there to the audience enjoying MSC 2024?
All right, we actually didn't expect that the NA team is lost and like this, but hopefully we'll be the stronger and come back later. You guys can look forward for the upcoming, the new strong team from the NA.
That's right, guys. Enjoy MSC 2024. Shout out to your favorite teams. And Gosu General, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Enjoy the show, and we'll see you in the stands.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Steph Weezy, as well as Gosu General. Hope you guys are enjoying the match so far because, again, it's 2-2 from a best of 5 all the way to a best of 1. Is it weird that I'm all too familiar with this feeling? I just went through it yesterday, man. I already took my meds.
You go through it every year, though, don't you?
Yeah.
You're like comfortable with this. You think you could
Yeah.
adapt.
Actually,
M4
no.
was, there were a lot of best of 5. Went 5 games in M4. You know, apart from that, that was actually the last.
This let me just say, this job does have some health hazards. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
For me.
I just want to say a big shout out to General. It's Game 4, G4. It's almost like it was all, you know, part of the plan. It's the will.
Is his nickname like G4 or something?
It's like the catchphrase of Gosu, Team Gosu. You never seen the emote, the little General emote? G4.
Want to talk about the draft? Right.
It's not up yet.
Yeah, it's not up yet, but you know.
Oh, when I go on a tangent, then we...
You gotta bring it down to Southeast Asia level. Either ways, before going into the draft, shout outs to Leo as well as Gideon. You know what? Great friends. Gideon, a fellow Malaysian, I'm pretty sure he's feeling the pressure.
Another G.
Yeah, another
Gideon.
G.
Another
HomeBois, okay, HomeBois first pick at this point. HomeBois blue side, NIP Flash, red side, Moscow ban out, Angela ban out. So I don't want HomeBois to ban Louis at this point. Like, save one ban just in case for that Martis, or have some kind of answer, because okay,
Oh,
the ban
yeah.
on the Louis.
What?
I don't see a Martis ban on there yet, though. They've got one
And they
more
haven't.
choice.
They must have something.
But the open.
What
the lane
if
is open
they
right
pick it?
There you go. There you go.
The China is now back
now. In the
in
cabinet.
the cabin.
All right, at least I
Covered.
called the Martis ban.
Yes, sir.
Ban out the Ling or Roger here.
I Let it be known that
No, you
our
were both
friends
open.
from Malaysia and Philippines have been giving us a lot of offerings.
Valentina ban.
And,
Oh, what else
thank
do they
you.
have?
Ooh, they leave the Valentina open as well. So HomeBois either gets Ling, Roger, or Valentina, but no matter what, NIP Flash gets both in response.
I feel like they opened the Valentina because they think that HomeBois is going to pick up the Ling, right?
That's right. So this should be Ling.
And
But I think HomeBois
and then Roger
have shown
Valentina?
us that
they could
when
pick up
Ling
the
is
Val-
available, they will pick up the Valentina first.
Actually, no, they pick up the Ling.
Yeah, they pick up the
Okay.
Ling Wolf.
Understandable.
I think at this point, HomeBois is just like, we got to take the risk.
Yeah.
Risk it for the biscuit, baby.
To be fair, Ling's not that much of a risk nowadays.
No, I mean, like, what if they pick up the... Oh, they actually pick
They're
up
gonna
the
give
Valentina
Valencho.
Cho.
Valencho. Okay.
Roger Turizla?
Pick up a Glock here?
Teresa's just. If they pick up Roger Teresa, this is literally HomeBois cosplaying Falcon Sabi brand.
Is there anything wrong with that?
Nothing.
You're going to
at all.
cosplay any team.
Exactly.
You cosplay Liquid Echo.
Like, oh. You're.
Wait, what?
I mean.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Didn't get it.
I would
It's
like
okay, you know.
I would like to cosplay as Badang, but
What?
I can't. I don't have the
With that
requirements.
attitude, you
Yeah.
can't.
No, I feel like it's more than just
I
the
thought
attitude.
you said
It's more than just the
It's more than just the attitude at this point. But anyways, Ling picked up here.
Yep.
Farsa getting picked up here. So Farsa going up against this Valentina, and they
don't
actually
take
prefer the
the-
Arlet.
Okay, so
Can I say
this is an actual Liquid Echo. Awesome.
I told you.
Yeah.
Don't fight.
You're going to fight.
You're gonna fight. Oh, okay. So the benefit of this for NIP Flash is that they're giving Diablo the option and the opportunity to actually show himself. And that means that you should ban Teresa nonetheless if you are NIP Flash here.
No, I do agree because having, like, here's the thing. I kind of want this Arlet to be on the EXP with Sapat, because Zorn with the Arlet, he's very all in. Like, if I go in, I do good damage, great. If not, then he's gonna be the one dying most of the time, because we see whenever HomeBois is not doing well, it's usually Zorn that's not doing well. So I don't know, maybe pick up something a little bit safer. But I don't even know what's safe, because if you pick up the Grok, it's going over to the Valentina. If you pick up the Minotaur, it's going over to the Valentina. If you pick up the Tigreal, it's going up to the Valentina.
Yeah.
So honestly, not a lot of good roamers going up against Valentina at this point.
To be fair, MP the King told me yesterday or last night where they had to face the Valentina of Suns, where they have 4 big ultimates like Roger ultimate, they have the Gacha ultimate, they have Terizla ultimate, they have a Farsa ultimate, the Vixen ultimate. I mean, it's like options paralysis all over again. Like, you overload the Valentina with so many good ultimates that you will not have the
Carry
greatest
ban.
time.
And what
ban.
Roger ban from HomeBois?
That's an interesting ban. Are they going for a tanky lineup?
Huh.
Like, are they going for like a Boxia or something?
Maybe they are.
Or
Maybe they are.
they pick up the Roger here.
Yeah, I
And then
think
HomeBois, what do they have left, right? Nothing but a Claude, really?
What about Beatrix?
Beatrix is still, we've been talking about it.
Yep.
Yeah, but I feel like the
That's-
Claw might be a little bit better going up against the Benedetta.
Benedetto, they pick up the Roger. So yeah, we can do. Is the Ruby still available?
Ruby is...
Ruby is still available.
Available, yeah.
Maybe
Available,
Claude Ruby for HomeBois.
Yeah, I mean Ruby for the gold lane.
Yeah,
if
I was
they
thinking
want.
gold in as well.
Ooh.
And then pick up Terizla as well. Like, you have a ton of stuns to utilize against this composition of NIP Flash.
Honestly, I'm all for it. Just put all the weight on Chibi's and Udil's shoulder. Let them carry the game.
Yeah. But then again, Edith still looks good for HomeBois. We can put it in the Rome, Arlet EXP, and then get a Claude. I think overall, even when we say there's the okay,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Join in the
whoa, whoa,
Claude.
whoa, whoa.
Okay.
Is that a Rome Jawhead?
That's a Rome Jawhead, I believe.
It's been years.
that's for sure.
No, Zorn is a catch specialist. So this is go big or go home.
And theoretically, can work against the Roger. You want Roger to come to you. You want the dive to happen.
For sure.
And maybe that's why they haven't been picking up and didn't respond with it.
Think about the Jawhead now. His new passive is basically a focusing mark. It grants your team more damage. So more damage on the Ling, more damage on the Farsa, more damage on the Arlip, more damage on the Claude. This is still high risk because if you're using a Jawhead and you don't have a good early game, you're gonna be very, very squishy. NIP Flash finishes up with the Barats.
Barats for
Barats is gonna be too heavy to throw around, you know, but looks like the
Unless he doesn't have his stacks.
Yeah. Either ways, this draft is one of the drafts of all time. HomeBois is putting all of it on the line. You win or lose with this Jawhead. With that being said, thank you very much, analysts. I'm throwing over this very interesting draft to our casters.
Interesting it is. Man, yesterday we had one of the best series of MSC, and now, according to LaFell, we have one of the best drafts that we have here.
Very interesting, he said.
Very interesting with the Jawhead pick, but that's going to lead us into it because here it is. It's the final series of the day, the last game, the ultimate opportunity for these teams to advance. A semi-final spot hangs in the balance, their fate on the line, their keys on the line. Will it be NIP Flash or will it be HomeBois? This last match in this amazing best of 5.
Oh, this is intense already, man. All the way from the start of the game, just with I think all the way from the draft as well. The fact that Zorn can actually go and leash for Chibi will make it so good for HomeBois in terms of pathing at least. And for JPL, he's no longer going to be able to just stick in the mid lane, clear these waves together with Cortese. You can see those missiles, JPL forced to flicker already. That's the power of Jawhead. It's the damage, my guy.
It's the damage. I love that, you know, they already talked about some of this too leading into this. And, you know, Jawhead is, I don't know, it's a throwback pick, really. And, you know, Zorn is a specialist on it, too, because obviously it's going to take a really certain type of player to make this work. You have to be able to lock on the right targets, utilizing just the kit of the Jawhead alone. Because remember, you can also throw your teammates, right? You can inject them to the fight, and that could play a part in this unless, you know, we have those potions being bought. But also for this, part of this is actually the surprising amount of damage that Jawhead can do. And I feel like because, you know, we heard yesterday back when we saw the Zask pick up, we heard that, yeah, it surprised us. It was a pick that necessarily you don't get a lot of time to practice against. Well, maybe the Jawhead can be that for the HomeBois here in this matchup, unless NIP Flash just plays like they did even in the previous game here. Already, JPL going to get poked down a little bit, but no pickup just yet. Turtle is spawning, though. Uh-oh.
Up top, the Petrify locking him down. Zorn going to be taken down on the Jawhead. So far, hasn't worked out. Diablo up top, now punishing Sapan, even forcing the Flicker out. Should be able to clear this out, and this will be a whole lot more prio for NIP Flash. With the first Turtle being held down by Hades, Udil is trying desperately to go for a little bit of a, go for that position, but the final blow will be used up by Diablo, trying to zone them away. Will be able to do so right now. Good eye for an eye to counter the Tempest of Blades, and just like that, there isn't going to be anything else HomeBois can do about the Turtle, but they can go for the trade. Great maneuver with the ejector. Diablo getting the pick as well. That's a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
And a Turtle.
And a Turtle. Going to the hands here for NIP Flash. So, you know, exchanges, and hey, like we saw previously, Diablo's got 2 kills under his belt. We saw what kind of confidence that brings this man to the table. And now that he has the 2 early kills on a Benedetta who is very hyper-aggressive, especially in the hands of a player like Diablo, will be tough to deal with for HomeBois, especially just in the lane alone. It's something you want to deal with. You want to be able to shut it down, and that's exactly why they're putting Zorn up there on that top side. If they can work with that, make possibly a play, that'd be great for HomeBois to get some momentum in their favor. It's nothing too crazy, right? This early in the game, NIP Flash has just garnered themselves a little bit of a lead. But it looks like, too, you know, Diablo knows that they're after him, that they have their eyes set on him, and he's going to get forced out. So good little check there also from Hades to keep Diablo safe.
He also has 2 kills on the board, right? So Diablo still It almost seems like it's just deja vu to the last game. He got a double kill in the first minute, this time in the first turtle, so a bit later compared to game number 1, but he's still utilizing the pressure so well. Final blow in the petrified combo on the Sapa straight into the G-Kundo, and Sapa won't be able to flicker out of this one. It's still on cooldown. Zorn ejector, but he's onto the small camp there. Feather airstrike, oh, gets cancelled, Hades! Punishing Udil for popping the Feather airstrike a bit too early. Chibi still able to secure it. Now pops in the Tempest of Blades, picks up the Blades as well, and will be able to disengage, but still, for NIP Flash, they'll take that win.
They'll take that for now. Good thing for HomeBois. I think that's always something that's going to happen here, is GB's going to have to secure these purple buffs. It's crucial on this Ling pick. Diablo just picked up the Blade of Hephaestus, so if you thought he did some damage already early on, now paired with Lethal Ignition, it's going to be even more so. GB finally gets the Berserker's Fury here, and Turtle's up. I don't think they can really do anything about it, though. They're not even going to get close enough to NIP Flash here, as it's secured by Hades. Once again, locking down these objectives. It looks like they might try to force something here. Curtiz even holding on to the final slash himself. Oh, they're going to go for nets? Okay. Here's the response.
Stoppable Force dodged away from Way the Dragon, now bringing Zorn back into Curtiz's damage, but it will be a Feather Airstrike that takes him down. Even Vanix, not with a Lycan Pounce, but he will be traded back. Nets able to get the kill down. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of HomeBois, only losing a 0-1 Jawhead.
Yeah, not too bad. Kind of, you know, pretty much worth it at that point. Also puts nets on the board here. And so HomeBois is going to be happy about that trade. Good read from them previously and good response on rotating down. They'll go ahead and work on this turret as Diablo's working there on the top side. Chibi stops him from just capping out the tier 1. Uh-oh.
1v1, Tempest of Blades used up. Diablo final blow and a solo kill. Chibi still able to dodge away. Zorn, unstoppable force. Oh, Diablo! Still able to get him down. But it's a shutdown for Chibi, it seems there. No, it was Zorn that picked it up. So still, it's a bounty picked up now in the bottom lane. JP with the G-Kundo. Vanix gonna go for it with the help of the Way to Dragon. Nets taken out in the bottom lane as the Feather Airstrike will be popped in by Udil, and JPL will just walk out of every single shot.
Okay, I don't think they want to. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was waiting for the final slash possibly to use, but they don't have enough backup, especially after the Feathered Airstrike was used. But man, if this hasn't been the picture of the series, what is? Look at this play right here. Chibi able to survive for the most part, but here comes a Zorn. Great from Diablo too. If he's like, you know what?
That was an anime moment, bro.
Yeah, it was, man. It's like, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. And that is also just going to help them out further, but at least for HomeBois too, they kind of need those moments where they're able to get some of these kills if they can find them, because of the fact that now you're looking at 2,000 gold now in the hands of NIP Flash to work around with ahead of HomeBois.
You can see the glowing wand rush for Udil is helping him out here, but it comes down to poke. But still, it seems like if he's only able to hit one of those shots, NIP Flash, they can just regen back up very easily. And the fact that they have Diablo in the side lane means that they'll have auto pressure almost every single time. Auto prio in the sideways, because even Chibi, he wasn't able to 1v1 him. Hades walks up after he secures the turtle, pops into Retribution. Zorn gonna be brought back. No, dodges away, pops in the ejector to get the movement speed to get out of those missiles.
Yeah, I mean, to get brought back, Final Slash gonna be used.
Right into the Feather Airstrike, but Detzer's Welcome gets used up as well. Zorn still with the Unstoppable Force and the ejector bringing him back. Hades will be taken down. JP with Way to Dragon now straight into the final blow, locking him down. Subpot taken out 1-for-1. Roam. No, it's a jungle for the XP as JPL looks for more, but he doesn't have the Way to Dragon. Seems they're just trying to contest this purple buff, not letting Chibi get it for free, forcing at least a Retribution out of him, and they will be able to do so.
Okay, gets his buff, but you know, then again, it's just Zorn was able to toss Hades up in the air, even with the fully stacks, of course. Fun to see a fully stacked Barretts be thrown over the head. But with that, items fall into place, of course. Like we mentioned, Thunderbelt is there for Sapat. Over on the other side, though, you look at the build Diablo's going with. And that's why he's such a threat. He's also, yeah, he's got the Sky Piercer now, too. And so at this point, they got to lock down Diablo somehow. They have to be able to survive, too, that Petrify combination with the Electro Final Blow. It looks like right now, though, HomeBois wants to set their eyes here on this top side, but look at the response, Diablo and Hades.
Final blow. Zorn, you're not going to be able to spot him. Nets Gonna be caught in the Petrify, forced to Purify. Diablo still chasing it again. One last flash should do it. He finds it. But Nets is able to escape now. The re-engage from Sapot as he finds the Vengeance. Diablo unable to escape from Chibi's. Tempest Ablaze, but Nets is welcome. Catches him now. It's gonna be JP all the way to Dragon with the Flicker as well. Now Sapot chasing Curtizi, finding the Vengeance, and continuing this onslaught with the unstoppable force by Zorn. Vanix unable to find the shots, 2 for 1 in favor of HomeBois.
Again, a back and forth between both. And it looks like I was saying, Diablo would be able to get a kill there, but you know, maybe that's also just that change that we saw from the Skypiercer where, you know, that little extra percent does make a big difference because he couldn't get it to proc against Nets. So Nets also great job at staying alive there. Final slash.
Great pull back onto Vanix. The Purify gets him out for a bit, but Sword flickers forward, gets the ejector into the missiles, and takes the gold lane down.
With the thumbs up to add salt to the wound. And now Lord is up here. Vanix is not part of the picture right now. HomeBois full force. Diablo will make his way now for the fight. They're going to have to fight it out.
Another unstoppable force, this time canceled out, but a death is welcome. Diablo in the back line still trying to go for a flank. Right now the final slash will be used up. Now Diablo chasing Udil, still able to escape Nets, going back to save him. Diablo on the chase on the Chibi as Hades gets taken down earlier. Sapot in the midst of it all, JPL, the Jikundo, but Sapot flickers out of it. And HomeBois again win out in these small trades.
HomeBois will go ahead and get a minor win for that, but ultimately NIP Flash just wanted to stop them from securing the Lord, and they did that. Skypiercer also picked up now for Chibi, has the Haas Claws with it. They still go ahead and start this Lord. I'm not sure if NIP Flash has anything they can do just yet. Ultimates are online. Hades just got up, and they're just gonna have to watch it taken down. Final slash used from Sapot, but nothing comes of it. So now they find themselves at this shift in this game at 10 minutes in. Lord will go ahead and spawn up, and their eyes are going to be set on these turrets. Again, they don't have any turrets down. HomeBois is yet to get the space they want to work around with. And this, once they get these tier 1s down, it is going to be playing a big part here. Damage dealt, though, of course. Udil already at the top of it. Feathered Airstrike going to be playing a massive part of that. And right now, too, Curtizi holding on to his own final slash.
Sapot going to be chunked down. Vanix can go for the execute there with Lycan Pals. Meanwhile, up top, that's a good death to this welcome on the Zorn. He's going to be caught all alone, isolated from the rest of the team. And Vanix picks the kill up. Bottom lane, Lord still marching down freely into the tier 2. And it should be the Lord taking the tier 2 down in the bottom lane for free. Diablo finally reaches it, but it's a bit too late to save the tier 2.
Yeah, at this point, hold on, Sapot. Is he gonna go in?
Stun, Purify out from Vanix. JPL cancels out the Feather Airstrike, but will be Flickers to the wall. GB chases him. Diablo eye for a 9, almost canceling. Final slash, Curtizi finding 3, but now gets gunned down by Nets. Vanix looking for the trade, finding it. 2 for 2. In the 11th minute, it is still 50-50.
If you didn't want Game 5, this is what you get. This is the back and forth we've had throughout the series, and now Game 5 as well. With everything on the line, comes down to the back and forth. Relatively even, but man, someone has to deal with Nets. Has this Wind of Nature now locked in, has the 3 items he needs.
Vanix gets caught, unstoppable force, still trying to deal some damage, but Nets, his damage is enough to take him down. With no Purify, Zorn can do whatever he wants.
Who's gonna deal with Nets? That's the question NIP Flash has to answer here. Again, great usages from, I mean, even from Curtizi. We've seen him use the final slash. We've seen him use the Feathered Airstrike. But Zorn, he's going to do what he does best. He's going to start taunting NIP Flash, putting them in a situation where they might make a misstep here. You know, they got, what, 4 turrets based off that whole exchange from that first Lord. And that's enough to allow Chibi now to roam around, to put some pressure on these side lanes, get attention like he's doing here. Ooh. And that was close because, yeah, Hades was charging up. Purple's going to be up now, 30 seconds away from this Lord. Let's take a look at the quick items here.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Malefic Roar, actually, from Diablo. Usually you expect a BOD if he gets the ball rolling at the start of the game. This time he goes for a bit more of a safer build with a Malefic Roar. But now it looks like he's on the way to the BOD. So he's only just delayed the BOD. He didn't actually cancel it all the way. There you go.
There it is. Locked in now for Diablo. Mid lane.
Sapot with a flickered final slash. Finding Nets as well. Curtizi in the midst of it all. Now the ejector finding JPL. He's able to get the Jikundo, but Diablo gets Nets. It's a good shutdown. Chibi getting munched on. Vanix in the back line. Still able to isolate everyone away from Chibi. who gets caught, and NIP Flash, they found the best possible target to go for the Enhanced Lord. No jungle for HomeBois.
No jungle, it's up to Zorn and Udil. Sapat in trouble.
Now with the Phantom Slash called, Teasy able to find the last flash of damage to take him down. Zorn going for mid-prio, NIP Flash going for the Lord. 14 and 13, 13 minutes in, and finally we have an Enhanced Lord. That should tip the game a bit in favor of NIP Flash. Finally, we have a deciding tip.
STC replay here. What a team fight this was. Just zoning out Chibi. Great usage of that Daytona's Welcome. Oh, you can see it. You can see the emotions as well because, man, talk about a game. And now that NIP Flash has this Lord, they're going to be marching down to the bottom side. They're going to be looking at these turrets too and fighting to put pressure on the purple buff as well. Uh-oh. HomeBois, what can they do?
Chibi, he still... No, he wasn't able to go and secure it. He used the Retribution, but it wasn't enough. Hades was able to out-retry him there. NIP Flash now looking to utilize this. No purple buff on the Ling. Vanix has a Rose Gold. That's a conceal. JPL looking for the play on towards the pot possibly, but it's just zoning. Unstoppable force used up to JPL. Vanix now with a Lycan form. Jumps forward. Doesn't go for the Lycan pouch just yet. They've cracked the base open. Base turret number 1 taken down in the bottom lane as HomeBois deal with the Enhanced Lord, but it's getting so many hits down. Vanix able to shoot Chibi down from the walls, getting him low, forcing him back to base.
Okay, NIP Flash, happy with that. They get a base turret down, and they take the discipline route from that. They know they can kind of take this a little bit slower. They need to get a pick off if they want, utilizing the fact that they have a Cho, but they also have to respect the fact that HomeBois can do the same thing, right? So now their eyes are set on these turrets. They want to get the rest down, make their way to these base turrets. But the fact that they got one is already a big advantage for NIP Flash to work with. So now at this point for HomeBois, it's kind of up to Zorn and also Sapat here to use these ultimates. Oh, Conceal, gonna go in?
I don't know about that, Zorn. He's isolated himself. JPL just baits him, ejector vital slide from Curtizi. Straight into Diablo's damage, but Curtizi will be taken down now. Is able to turn the tides around. Vanix continues the onslaught like a pound. Onto the back, finding a triple. Udil, the last Kage, gonna be taken down as well. Vanix is a maniac.
Oh my goodness. NIP Flash. Off the decision of Zorn to go in on this Jawhead. It's only Chibi. He's going to try to cut the wave, try to buy time, but it might be too late.
Now the base in the mid lane, taken down. That's a base turret. Straight into the crystal they go. Diablo with eye for an eye, tanking all the hits. NIP Flash win out the best of 5. They send the HomeBois home.
You can't stop these ninjas in pajamas. NIP Flash will send the boys home, locking in their semifinal spot to face up against SRG. Again, what an amazing series to witness this day. Just like yesterday, a 5-game series to close it out. And ultimately, the best team won in this exchange as it was a back and forth. What an amazing